A Thanksgiving weekend filled with Mid-American Conference football energy. Welcome, everybody, inside Ryderson Stadium on the campus of Eastern Michigan University, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Northern Illinois Huskies from the MAC West trying to run the table against their rivals, the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Why so special for Northern Illinois? We take a look at the MAC West. They're trying to culminate a perfect 8-0 campaign and win their 11th in a row, and they have won 3 consecutive MAC West crowns. They're going to play 23rd ranked Kent State. Winners of the MAC East, they too today are trying to go to 8-0 and have an 11-win season as well. Northern Illinois, Kent State, the bellwethers of the MAC this year. With that, we say happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to our telecast booth. Michael Rega, my partner, the coach Bob Conmel. It has been a fantastic ride for Dave Doran, the head coach at Northern Illinois. 3 straight MAC West Division crowns. He's won 2 of them, one of the most potent offenses in the nation, and a trigger man at quarterback Jordan Lynch that we think should be involved in the Heisman Trophy festivities.
I don't think there's any question. I don't have a vote in the Heisman Trophy, but if I had a vote, this young guy would get my vote. He is something very special. Took over for iconic Chandler Harnish, and look at these statistics, Michael. Look what they've accomplished in DeKalb, Illinois under the Huskies.
Outstanding. As we said, that 10-game win streak already the 3rd longest in the FBS, and they've lost just one MAC football game going back to the 2010 campaign. All right, here in Ypsilanti at Eastern Michigan, Ron English has turned to this young man, the redshirt sophomore Tyler Benz. He's a big, strong-arm pocket passer, and he's given a boost to the Eastern Michigan offense. Big win over Western Michigan last Saturday.
Well, what we've seen here is the maturation of a young quarterback into the Mid-American Conference. Young Tyler Benz was the first quarterback in 42 Eastern Michigan University football games to throw for 300 yards, and he did that this year in October against Toledo.
Yes, he did. Over 400 yards a game and close to 30 points a game since Tyler Benz has taken over. Can Eastern Michigan spoil what could be a perfect ride for the Huskies of Northern Illinois? You're here to find out. The Eagles looking to take flight on this Thanksgiving weekend. Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan. It's coming at you next on ESPN3. All set for our Mid-American Conference finale on this final week of the regular season. Michael Rega alongside Bob Conmel as we get set to go. Northern Illinois trying to culminate this perfect run against the Eastern Michigan Eagles, who certainly are looking to maybe spring this upset here today. And for Northern Illinois, as we said, it has been a phenomenal ride. Dave Doran has done an absolutely remarkable job with this football program. And when you talk about offenses that are one of the most potent in all of the country, that's where Northern Illinois comes in. It's all led by, as we said, Jordan Lynch. Northern Illinois, Bob Conmel, averages almost 40 points a game. And, you know, we were talking a little bit before the football game about the way that this offense has evolved, and we've seen Chandler Harnish now with the Indianapolis Colts be the trigger man of it for the last 3 football seasons. And you're saying, well, I don't know if it can get any better than that, because Harnish, MAC Player of the Year, was phenomenal. But this offense with Jordan Lynch has not missed a beat. It is, as we said, averaging almost 40 a game, and it continues to just give enemy defensive coordinators around college football all kinds of problems.
Well, one of the things I think you have to think about, Michael, is this. When you recruit quarterbacks, there has to be continuity in their abilities. They have to have likability. Jordan Lynch is just a mirror image from a talent standpoint of Chandler Harnish. But I want to take this a step further, Michael. These 5 offensive linemen that came into this season for Northern Illinois University did not have one start among them. And that offensive line from Northern Illinois University last year, and I said it time again, was probably one of the best coached offensive lines that I've seen in the entire landscape of college football.
No question about it. And now they have had to, as we said this year, they're going to have to go without Tyler Luce today, their 3rd-year sophomore. And they'll move Ryan Brown from the right tackle spot over to that left tackle spot. So as we look at Dave Doran here he is 21 up at 4 down. And remember, he was Brett Bielema's defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. And then Doran with this opportunity now, and he's taken over a remarkable program that started really with Joe Novak and then through Jerry Kill and now Dave Doran.
Well, to to those who are given much, much is expected. And Dave Dorn did inherit a lot of talent, a really good football team.
Ron English in his 4th year. Bob Kamel here as the head coach at Eastern Michigan University. A 6-6 season last year, and of course they got off to a rough start this season. But in talking to Coach English as we did this week, he is very enthused about the future of the program, given the way they've responded, won 2 of their last 5 football games, and a big win over Western Michigan last week.
Well, I think one of the keys to the success and the enthusiasm for the future of Eastern Michigan University is obviously the maturation of Tyler Benz, number 12 at the quarterback position. Tyler Benz, Michael, was actually the first quarterback in Eastern Michigan University recent history of throwing 300 yards against Toledo earlier on this year. First time in 42 games.
He had a big one. Well, the weather has changed here in the state of Michigan. We've had 60-degree temperatures throughout the course of Thanksgiving week, but now more third week in November, like you see, just barely over the 40-degree mark, and might even get a snow flurry as this afternoon wears on. So we're all set to go. Northern Illinois trying to chase what could be a Mid-American Conference Championship as you take a look at Tyler Allen in the deep spot. Game on, Northern Illinois and Eastern Michigan on this day after Thanksgiving. Tyler Allen having problems with the football and is going to take a knee in the end zone. So that'll bring out the young man we were speaking of, and that is quarterback Tyler Benz. Benz out of Park Ridge, Illinois. So he's a young man from around the Chicagoland area that knows a lot about the Northern Illinois program. But Benz has done a solid job. He's hitting 54% of his throws for over 1,400 yards this year. Benz will be joined by Bronson Hill at the tailback spots. The former quarterback, Alex Gillette, is one of the wideouts. From the 25-yard line, the first snap from scrimmage of the afternoon. And that football got on the ground. It never got back to Tyler Benz, and he had to quickly jump on it at the 25. And Bob, this Northern Illinois defense with that front four, one of the best, led by Sean Progar, Alan Baxter, the ends, as we look at Benz's numbers. But this young man is from around the Chicagoland area, so he knows he's facing one of the best Ds in the MAC.
Maine Township High School, great high school football tradition.
This will be a 2nd and 10. Bronson Hill, the one back for Tyler Benz. And this is the tailback, Bronson Hill, and there's just nothing there. Keep an eye on this front 7 of Northern Illinois, Bob. They are terrific.
Well, the entire story, basically, the storyline for Northern Illinois has been, Jordan Lynch and the offense and everything. But this defense is very prolific, very well coached. Jay Neiman has done a great job.
Take a look at the impact players. Alex Gillette used to be the quarterback here, but all kinds of glittering numbers in his career. And team-oriented senior made the move to wide receiver. Sean Progar, as we see, 8 sacks, 3rd in the MAC, 2nd in the Northern Illinois annals with his 23-plus sacks. This is a 3rd down, now an 11 for Tyler Benz. Benz will fire that throw, and he's got Alex Gillette at the 34-yard line. Probably going to come up a yard short of the first down sticks as Northern Illinois' defense jumped on that. And as we said, this team, Victor Jock made the hit, 3 and out. And Eastern Michigan's got to punt it away.
This Northern Illinois secondary is probably the finest secondary in the entire Mid-American Conference. I mean, very athletic. And the one thing that they really have stood out as I've seen them this year, they tackle.
Oh, they do, Bob. We're going to talk about Jimmy Ward and Rashawn Melvin in that group. This is Jay Carruth's. Carruth's to boot it away. Giorgio Bowers, the Northern Illinois return man, will let it come to rest, 26-yard line, and you are about to see one of, as we've told you, most potent, prolific offenses in all of the Football Bowl subdivision. They average almost 40 points a game, led by the young man from Chicago, Mount Carmel. There he is, number 6, Jordan Lynch.
Jordan Lynch, the amazing thing about Jordan Lynch, Michael, 2,580 yards of offense, 22 touchdowns. But this is the statistic that stands out most for me. He's only been intercepted 4 times. Yeah.
And again, there's been no fall off whatsoever after the outstanding career ended as a graduated senior at Chandler Harnish. Lynch is going to fire on first down, and he comes up throwing to Martell Moore on that quick hitch. Moore got 4 to bring up 2nd and 6. Martell Moore, Tommy Lee Lewis, Perez Ashford's back, and Martell Moore. Well, was he good against Toledo with 153 yards, 7 grabs, 2 TDs.
Great talent. 899 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, absolutely one of the best wide receivers in the Mid-American Conference.
Well, there's your zone read with quarterback Jordan Lynch on the carry. Lynch quickly got 12 over the 40 to the 42-yard line. That's a first down. And Bob, Jordan Lynch, I mean, this is the third leading rusher in the MAC. As a quarterback, he's been that dynamic.
Jordan Lynch, 215 rushes, 1,500, 7.0, and 16 touchdowns. I mean, he can do it all. And the one thing that I really like about him, among other things, he makes great decisions with the football. He takes care of the football.
Oh, that he does, as you mentioned, with that very low interception total. Now, Lynch will give the football to tailback Akeem Daniels. So there's the first run play of the day for anybody other than Jordan Lynch is Daniels, the tailback. They've lost Leighton Settle to injury. They lost Keith Harris Jr. to injury. Daniels really has been their all-purpose guy. You'll see him like this a lot in an empty set. 2nd and 7. Zone read, and this is Tommy Lee Lewis on that jet sweep and got ran out of bounds by outside linebacker Brian Pally of Eastern Michigan, who wears number 21.
They actually call Tommy Lee Lewis the H-back, and he'll be all over the field. I mean, he'll be in motion. He'll run short routes. He'll run deep routes. Just a complete football player. And, again, a great talent, possesses great speed.
Bob, they lost Perez Ashford for a bulk of the year, the outstanding wide receiver, and Tommy Lee Lewis stepped in and did a terrific job. Jordan Lynch trying to connect with Martell Moore on that out route near the Northern Illinois sideline. He'll bring up now 4th down, and let's call it 3. And Eastern Michigan's going to get off the football field as Northern Illinois has got to punt it away. It'll be Ryan Neer to punt it away, and Alex Belfie. There's Belfie. Outstanding, strong safety, standing back at his 10-yard line. Neer came off the side of his foot but got that terrific roll, but it'll find its way to the end zone. So Northern Illinois not able to put points on the board. Eastern Michigan with their second possession when we get back scoreless in the early going as Northern Illinois tries to win their 11th straight in this season finale. Back at Rynearson Stadium in this season finale, wind up to the regular season. Ron English in his 4th year, the head coach of the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Going to tell you about Coach English in a moment. Tyler Benz will throw that bubble screen to the former quarterback, Alex Gillette. And Gillette got swarmed on by that ball hawking Northern Illinois D. Coach English last year, is his 4th year. Bob Kamel, former defensive coordinator at Michigan for Lloyd Carr. Same thing in Louisville, and his offense is starting to pick him up. But last year, this guy, Matt Coach of the Year, 6 wins, and seemed to have this program in the right direction. He believes it can get back there as well.
Well, I think one of the critical things that he's done very well is recruiting. He is developing some fine young players. And as you mentioned last year, Mid-American Coach of the Year, you know, the ebb and flow of his career here will be basically in his 5th year. Once you get to that 5th year and you've got your own players, you've had your own players, I don't like to use that term, but really shows what's reflected about the success he's had in recruiting.
Sure, yeah.
He has a great pedigree. I mean, he's Arizona State, you mentioned Louisville, the University of Michigan most recently. And, you know, he really believes in what he's doing. And when you speak to him, his enthusiasm for this program really comes through. You've got 33% last in the Mid-American Conference in 3rd down conversions. I'm sure that's something they emphasize in practice all the time. But at the same time, you know, Coach English last in something, and statistically, that's not good enough for him.
No, this is a 3rd and 1. See if they'll be able to convert. And this is Tyler Benz trying to move those sticks. He got a little bit of a push.
Gillette on the
Now, you know what? They snuck Alex Gillette in to run that 3rd down and short. So there's Alex Gillette, the former quarterback here, who, as a matter of fact, ranks 5th on the career passing mark. So Gillette got the direct snap. First down, Alex Gillette and Eastern Michigan.
A little bit of a wildcat situation. One of the things I like talking to the Eastern Michigan people earlier today, Alex Gillette has been so supportive of Tyler Benz.
Yes.
Has been a young team guy, and has actually assumed a leadership role with Benz. Totally unselfish.
Now Benz from under center. And going to run the football with Bronson Hill. Hill will wedge out a couple of yards. And that left side of the Eastern Michigan offensive line, Bob, is where their strength is. The pair of seniors, 315-pound Corey Neal at left tackle, 290-pound Andrew Sorgatz at the left guard, and Ron English said, yeah, maybe both. He thinks both of them will get a look professional.
Well, it's certainly one of the things that I see right now is critical for Eastern Michigan is to keep Northern Illinois' offense off the field. I mean, just grind out those first downs, get those first downs, let that clock keep ticking, keep Jordan Lynch and that supporting cast on the sideline.
Tyler Benz will fire that out, and it fell incomplete as he was looking to hook up with Donald Scott. And Scott couldn't hang on. And and they want to stay ahead of the sticks too, Bob, as we look at the second down throw that Scott couldn't hang on to. Coming up 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, that's not where Eastern Michigan wants to be.
Well, I don't think there's any question. Tyler Scott should have caught that football right there. I mean, Ben's put it right on the numbers. Just a little bit of, turning my head a little bit this way, looking upfield, trying to start out with the football before I catch it. Focus on that football. Catch that football, move those sticks.
Benz now will try to convert a 3rd down and 7 here. We're still scoreless mid-first quarter. Ben's being chased, and down he goes. Sack time. Northern Illinois, Sean Progar and Joe Windsor in on the hit. Progar 95, Windsor 97. There's some of that wrecking crew defensively in their front four.
Progar, 6'2", 254, a senior, the leader of this defense. I mean, one of the things, when it recruited Sean Progar, he played fullback and tight end in high school. You take that type of athleticism and put it in the defensive line, and you're going to have success.
Sean Progar, as we said, that front four, Alan Baxter and the ball, Jefferson, Kenny Bishop, they're all upperclassmen. As Giorgio Bowers to receive that Eastern Michigan punt at the 45, and he got planted right away. All right, Jordan Lynch and Eastern Michigan with a football when we get back. Jordan Lynch and Northern Illinois with a football when we get back. Still scoreless here in Ypsilanti. Great to have you with us this Thanksgiving weekend on ESPN3. Hope your Turkey Day was a blessed one with family and friends. Michael Regai, Bob Cannell, and that young man, Jordan Lynch. Outstanding, the Chicago area native on that zone read quarterback keep. Lynch got 6 before he got put down. Bob Cannell, coach, look at the company Jordan Lynch finds himself in among quarterbacks in college football.
Well, I may enjoy this graphic among all those we see today. He's in the company of Denard Robinson and Braxton Miller. But look here, rushing touchdown, 16, 6 and 13, yards per game. I mean, right across the board. And you know what? I mentioned early on about the possibility of he being a Heisman Trophy candidate or being that mix. Remember one thing, this is not your grandfather's Mid-American Conference anymore. And no disrespect to the history of this conference. These football players that play in this conference, along with this young man, can play in any conference in the country and have success. This is a great conference, and Michael, you've heard me say this time and again. Years ago, at some point in time, maybe this was considered, small-time football, so to speak. Not anymore. The MAC is here, and the MAC has put his footprints over the general scheme of college football, and that's why I see that young man in the company of those 2 other young men that we just did see on the graphic.
Here, Coach, I applaud you with that. And after Jordan Lynch connected with Martell Moore on that first down throw a moment ago, now they go back to the ground game, and they ran Perez Ashford. Sometimes they'll line up Ashford now and get him the football. He and Akeem Daniels. Northern Illinois on the move. Lynch will throw that bubble screen, and he's got Perez Ashford. Ashford bolts inside the 25. That's good for another first down. As here now, Jordan Lynch starting to find his rhythm offensively.
That's Perez Ashford is a neighbor of yours, isn't he? Shaker Heights, Ohio?
Shaker Heights, Ohio. That's right, Coach.
Perez Ashford, 24 receptions, 299 yards, 12.5 average, and 1 touchdown. Those are great statistics. He's a go-to guy for Jordan Lynch. And, we always see that, that 1 touchdown there, but at the same time, he's a guy that you're going to go to from a reliability standpoint and a guy that's going to move the chains for you.
Sure. Now Lynch, he'll give the football to Akeem Daniels. Daniels still alive, and he's gone to the house. Touchdown, Northern Illinois. A 25-yard touchdown lightning bolt from Akeem Daniels.
Watch the left side of this offensive line Ryan Brown, Jared Vogt, the center Andrew Ness. I mean, a hat on a hat. Great leg drive. Akeem Daniels finds that little lateral crease, and zingo, he's gone. He's one of those guys that got that extra gear, Michael.
Really does, out of Kissimmee, Florida. So Daniels, again, they've really been banged up at the tailback spot. No Leighton Settle, no Keith Harris Jr., and Akeem Daniels has been the guy here of late, as Matthew Sims will look to add the PAT here. Sims will do that, and the Huskies of Northern Illinois, and again, they're in search of their 11th consecutive win. Their loss by 1 at Soldier Field as this season opened up in early September. Akeem Daniels, 25 yards, touchdown jolt, Northern Illinois on the board first in Ypsilanti. A young offensive line on the build and on the rise after so many fifth-year seniors dominated it for the last couple of years. Just ushered Akeem Daniels into the end zone for Northern Illinois. 25-yard touchdown run, and Bob, it was very efficient, and they really up pace, and they go up tempo and quick a lot, but they really kicked the rhythm up there. 5
plays, 53 yards, a little over two minutes.
Yeah. That's what they can do to you.
There's no doubt. And again, you mentioned that offensive line. I can't say enough about this offensive line or their offensive line coach, Rod Carey. Technique-wise, everything. You're talking about 5 guys, as I mentioned, time and again, didn't have one start coming into this season.
Nope, a whole new group. Tyler Allen on that Eastern Michigan kickoff return to the 17-yard line. So that is where that Eastern Michigan will begin. This is their 3rd possession. And Bob, they'd like to bottle and cap what they got last week at Kalamazoo behind this young man, number 12, Tyler Benz. He's a 3rd-year sophomore, so a couple more years to start if he continues to win the job for Ron English. But they didn't turn it over last week. They were very effective converting 3rd downs, and they got their victory behind Benz, who, as I mentioned, hits almost 55% of his throws. That was a big win over in-state rival Western Michigan. So let's see what the Eastern Michigan offense gets. And they'll start with the quarterback run from Tyler Benz, as he got 4 to bring up 2nd down and 6. And Bob, there are just not many opportunities against this veteran defense of Northern Illinois. A lot of seniors on this defense are one of the stingiest in the MAC.
Well, I think one of the things right out the gate here, Michael, they have to establish somewhat of a running game, and then to get into some play-action passing. Without establishing the running game, the play-action is going to be difficult. And the other thing I think, which is very critical, is to get Alex Gillette involved in the offense in any way possible.
They've hit Gillette early on. Now this throw will be caught as it's hauled in for an Eastern Michigan 1st down. And making that grab is Jay Jones. Jones is a redshirt freshman who wears number 19. Jones making the grab here to move the sticks.
Good job with yards after catch. Donald Scott, the wide receiver, nice block. You know, and that's what you want to see out of a wide receiver. You know, the pro scouts up here and wherever they go, will he block? Will he be a complete wide receiver? You know, Jones, 5'10", 185, freshman, Palm Coast, Florida. Again, Ron English reaching out to various places aside from the provincial recruiting that occurs in the Midwest.
Now Benz is going to unload on that out route, and it almost got picked off by Rashawn Melvin. Melvin, the outstanding 5th-year senior corner, as Tyler Benz was looking for Jay Jones again, but Melvin is a tremendous cover corner.
Well, Tyler Benz shows good arm strength here, but at the same time, that's a ball that once he's more experienced, he probably won't throw. That's a route where when you see Rasheem Melvin ahead of your wide receiver, you're going to throw the ball short and then have the wide receiver come back and make the catch.
You want that back shoulder throw?
Yes,
almost
the back
like
shoulder throw,
route.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that comes from experience and working with your wide receivers on a regular basis. That'll come for him. I mean, at 6'3", 215 pounds, a sophomore, his best football's ahead of him.
Eastern Michigan going back to the ground game. Bronson Hill got stopped after a short gain as Victor Jock, the 5th-year senior, wears number 40, the middle linebacker for Northern Illinois. Now Jock leaving the football field, but he was in on that hit. Now again, here's where Eastern Michigan, this is a problem area, 3rd and long against this Northern Illinois defense.
So I'd like to see here, obvious passing situation, throw a little screen pass here.
And they go with 4 wide receivers for Tyler Benz on 3rd and 9. He'll fire and play pitch and catch, and that's good for a first down to Donald Scott. Scott's got his 19th reception of the year, the junior wideout, making a play for Tyler Benz in the Eastern offense.
Well, there was no progression here. Tyler Benz was going to him the whole way. You know, he came up underneath the corner, and a good job of selling the deep route and then coming back for the football, finding that soft spot in the zone. Donald Scott, 17 receptions, 231 yards, averaging almost 14 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And his 2nd reception today, as I mentioned, so that's got him up to 19 on the year. Along with Garrett Hoskins, the leading receivers on his football team. And that looked like Alan Baxter, the 240-pound senior, wears number 90, encroached. And that'll cost Northern Illinois 5.
You know, I had mentioned Progar before about having played fullback and tight end in high school and now being a down lineman. Baxter, who you just mentioned, was the captain of his football team, but he was an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, a tight end, and a fullback. That, as I mentioned, that athleticism, and, you know, Jimmy Johnson years ago recruited a lot of tall fullbacks and made them defensive linemen.
Yep.
And, you know, and that recruiting model, I think, is a real model for success as far as the defensive line goes.
And on 1st and 5 now into this swirling breeze, and Benz wants to go play action. He's going to load it up deep. Donald Scott had some separation, but was not able to haul in the football. Now that breeze, as we're looking at the flags and on top of the uprights, and they're really starting to swirl and probably up over 25 to 30 miles per hour.
Well, I will tell you, Benz had him that time. He had Donald Scott. And again, Michael, you're talking about the maturation of a quarterback. It comes from the off-season, the summer, working with those wide receivers constantly, even when the coaches aren't permitted to be at the practices. And that's where Tyler Benz's success will come.
2nd and 5 now for Benz. Go back to the ground game to Bronson Hill, and Hill's very close to the first down as Hill ran offset. Bronson Hill, the sophomore out of Grant and Inn, he is down and hurt right now as well.
Again, another young guy that comes from a football program with great tradition, Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
Yeah, very good program, although as I look at that, they might have snuck Ryan Brumfield in there, but we got to take a look and see.
So I think the formula here for the running game, as you mentioned, you know, when Coach English spoke about that left side of his offensive line, I mean, that's where I'm going with the football. Corey Neal, 6'3", 316, a senior. Andrew Surgott, 6'5", 286, a senior. These are guys that have been around. If I'm going to run the football, I'm going to run to the left side of this offensive line and challenge those two guys.
Corey Watman, the center, also a senior. And that was Ryan Brumfield, by the way. Brumfield, Dominic Shearer, Ryan Brumfield, they're the backups to Bronson Hill. And so Brumfield will check on him after he got shaken up. It's going to be a 3rd down and a short 1 for quarterback Tyler Benz. Go back to the ground game. Dominic Shearer runs hard off that left side. That football came out after Shearer had been taken to the ground. At 6 yards, first down for the veteran, the senior Dominic Shearer out of Cincinnati Coleraine High School.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Michael. Corey Neal, Andrew Sorgatz. Dominic Shearer, 65 rushes, 219 yards, 3.4, and 1 touchdown. Again, here's another guy that's starting to come into his zone.
Yep, he's been around this program now in his 4th year, played as a freshman, Dominic Shearer.
You know, these seniors that are playing their final game at home, this game is so important to them.
Now Benz off play action. Gonna come underneath, and he's got the big tight end, Garrett Hoskins. Hoskins making his 37th catch of the year, the leading receiver on this football team. Could possibly be a fullback, H-back, Bob, according to head coach Ron English at the next level in the NFL.
Why I like this call, Michael, is because we talked about attacking the left side, Northern Illinois' right side of their defensive line with these big guys that Eastern has on the left side. So now you fake into there, then you come back the other way. You get a lot of people moving in that direction with the play-action fake, and then come back to your tight end across the field, Hoskins.
They executed it beautifully. Bubble screen is drilled by quarterback Tyler Benz as he will connect with his wide receiver, Jay Jones. So Jones with his third catch of the afternoon, and now Tyler Benz in Eastern Michigan, they're trying to look to pick up the pace a bit.
A little bit of rhythm right now, just outside the red zone. This is where Tyler Benz has to take care of the football. And that message has to be passed on in the huddle to everybody. We've got a good drive going here. Take care of the football.
As we mentioned, they took care of it very well. Big part of their win in Kalamazoo last week. A 2nd and 5 for Benz. Play action, being chased. Came underneath, wide open by himself, into the end zone. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan. As making that catch for Eastern Michigan and coming off the slot was Matt Boyd out of Southfield.
Well, here again, run the football and the play action will be there. Great misdirection. Tyler Benz, great poise, got his shoulders square, put the football just where it needed to be. Great play calling by Ben Karcher, the offensive coordinator for Eastern Michigan. That was a wonderful series, Michael.
You were mentioning those seniors. There's one of those seniors that were saluted before the football game today, and their final one here wearing the Eastern Michigan Eagles uniform, Matt Boyd. First touchdown of the year.
Michael, as I've mentioned to you early on, this to me is the pride and perfect game. The pride of the seniors from Eastern Michigan with their last home game. And you want to leave this field for the last time a winner. Regardless of what your record is through the entire year. For Northern Illinois, it's the perfect game. In other words, I want to finish this season with a perfect record going into that championship game. So I'm calling it the pride and perfect game.
I like that. Pride and perfect. We'll keep that theme going throughout the course of the day, Coach Kamel.
When these seniors, you come off the field this last time and you win this football game, the record in all candor,
Well, that's the one you remember then, right?
Exactly.
You go out on a winning note.
And, and all the young guys on the team, that's today you play for these guys. You play for those that went before you.
Dylan Mulder to add this PAT. Mulder will connect, and we're all even at 7 apiece. Late first quarter, that touchdown drive, very nicely executed by Tyler Benz, and there's the touchdown celebratory young man, the senior Matt Boyd. Take a look at another edit. They got Matt Boyd out there, and he was certainly not paid a whole lot of attention to by any Northern Illinois defender.
Well, there's a certain amount of patience that has to be executed in that play, and that's one of the things. And I will tell you, at the same time as you mentioned Tyler Benz, he is under duress here for the second time on the bootleg pass, and he shows great poise. When that guy's going, he's a right-handed quarterback. He goes to his right. Those shoulders are squared up. He's got good velocity on the football. Excellent call, well-executed play.
Yeah, linebacker Tyrone Clark of Northern Illinois. Clark, an outstanding edge rusher, was on the chase. Now Matt Boyd. Hey, Matt Boyd, all right. He was sent out of Southfield, of course, the very nearby suburb to the city of Detroit. And you got your first TD of your senior season. Now go out and play special teams. You better go play like that kick cover like you always do.
Here we go. 11 plays. One of the things defenses talk about, never give up more than 12 plays in any series. That's 11. That's pretty good. And it's 82 yards. And look to your right here, Michael. 5 minutes and 13 seconds. That's 5 minutes and 13 seconds that Northern Illinois offense was watching the football game.
And Bob Kamel, my partner, he had said that before this one today about keeping that offense off the football field. This is Tommy Lee Lewis on that kickoff return, and he has come free and out the back door. Tommy Lee Lewis going the distance as the first quarter comes to an end, and Tommy Lee Lewis has just come up with that big-time momentum-changing play, going the route on that kickoff return for the Northern Illinois touchdown.
Great teams find a way to respond. And what you see here is everybody in their lane, everybody getting a hat on a hat and letting Tommy Lee make the cuts early on to his left, then back to his right, and then basically it's a track meet, and he shows great speed. That is tough business for the Eastern Michigan University sideline.
Yeah, that euphoria, unfortunately for Eastern Michigan, short-lived as Matthew Sims will add his second PAT with just the 1 second left in this opening quarter. So Tommy Lee Lewis, he got a couple of good blocks.
You know, and again, we see this young, all it takes, it's not always going to be a knockdown block. It's not always going to be a pancake block. Just, you know, he showed a change of speed there because he waited until his blockers got in front of him. And I can't say enough about Tommy Lee Lewis, 5'11", 155 pounds, young guy from Riviera Beach, Florida.
Tommy Lee Lewis has, while Perez Ashford was out, Tommy Lee Lewis was a very big playmaker and game changer for Dave Doran in Northern Illinois. He and Martell Moore and Deron Brown, the wide receiving core, they really upped their level of play with the sensational Perez Ashford out. And Lewis showing you his abilities to be just that, a game changer right there.
Well, as it's said more often than not in college football, more so the catchphrase, next man up.
Yep.
And I think next man up is great provided you have depth. And Northern Illinois has depth right across the board. And we're getting a little bit of snow here today, Mike.
Yeah, snow flurries coming down. What could be better for Thanksgiving weekend in the state of Michigan? As the Mid-American Conference comes to a regular season close today, Northern Illinois has more business, as we know. As this is Tyler Allen for Eastern Michigan on the return. Allen will get put down at the 23-yard line. And as the Thanksgiving weekend snowflakes are falling, we've come to an end of quarter number one. Tommy Lee Lewis with that big touchdown kickoff return a moment ago. Akeem Daniels with a 25-yard run. And, of course, Eastern Michigan got on the board as well with a touchdown throw to Matt Boyd. 14-7, Northern Illinois over Eastern Michigan, second quarter next. Doran and his Huskies of Northern Illinois just got that big-time lightning bolt from Tommy Lee Lewis, his first kickoff return for a touchdown this year. So we start quarter number two now with Northern Illinois with this touchdown lead at 14-7. And this is Bronson Hill on the carry. Hill shaking his way to the 29-yard line. So Bronson Hill... you know what? They snuck Ryan Brumfield in again. All right, I'm going to make sure I get Hill and Brumfield squared away. Brumfield, and they have the same kind of running styles, but that was a young man. It's good to see him back. He got shaken up on his first carry.
Nice carry there. I mean, it looked, pretty average. I mean, no big deal. But the fact is, when he jumped outside and hit that other gear and got 5 yards on the carry, was not a lot there. Credit him.
Second consecutive carry for Ryan Brumfield, this 183-pound sophomore. And he's got a first down after his two carries. Get him that first down. So in this possession, Ryan Brumfield getting the call from Ron English.
You know, we talked about third down conversions for Eastern Michigan being last in the Mid-American Conference. You actually devote a period a day at practice to third down, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and long, 3rd and short. And, that pays off. You achieve what you emphasize. And in this particular game here, as we watch, they don't look like they'd be last in the Mid-American Conference in third down conversions.
Now that quick throw on the bubble screen, and this is the senior Alex Gillette, the former quarterback who's got 13 more. So they got Gillette matched up out there, Bob, and hit him and let him do the rest with the football.
We're seeing more of this in college football where we've got a guy, can play quarterback, can play wide receiver, can play running back, be creative offensively, get him into the ebb and flow of the game as much as you can. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Great example right there of Alex Gillette at a wide receiver. We saw him also in the Wildcat formation.
Well, run out of the eye after the pitch and catch from Benz to Gillette. Go back to the ground game. Getting the edge is Bronson Hill. Hill, the sophomore out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, Catholic Central. So a pair of good-looking sophomores, Bob, in Bronson Hill and Ryan Brumfield at the tailback spot.
That's what Coach English was talking about earlier today. The fact is he's got a lot of young, good players. He's had some good senior leadership. He's had some guys that have been around. But, the future basically is in the hands of these younger players. Credit Rasheen Melvin, the corner from Northern Illinois, an outstanding corner. Great young guy out of Waukegan High School. great burst on the ball, comes up and makes the tackle. And I mentioned earlier on, Northern Illinois secondary tackles as well as anybody.
Tyler Benz will keep the football on 2nd and 3. Might have wedged out enough for a first down. He got tracked down from behind. And on that hit was Donovan Gordon. Dave Doran, that is an Eastern Michigan first down. Donovan Gordon, part of that backup defensive front four. Dave Doran will play 8, Bob, in that front four. He gets everybody reps.
Well, if there's a position on the football field where you like to give guys a breather, it's in that defensive line. I mean, these are big guys that are called upon to run, whether rushing the passer, pursuing a running play. You have that type of luxury, you'll have success up front from your defense.
The snow showers coming down here in southeast Michigan. Tyler Benz and Eastern Michigan go back to the ground game. You see that football come loose. Victor Jock along with Donovan Gordon on the hit there.
You know, we look at Eastern Michigan's play selection here. 14 rushes, passes, 11 passes. That is very, very good balance. And I think that'll be the key to the offense that Coach English wants to run. It's going to have to be balanced.
That's 2nd and 8 now for Tyler Benz. As some of that snow, as we see, is starting to accumulate a little bit on this field turf here at Rynearson Stadium. Play action, look out, pressure for the backside, and that's Tyrone Clark on that edge rush sack. We just mentioned on the last possession that Clark will really get after it off the edge. Clark out of St. Louis, who wears that number 36.
Clark in this particular play, as you watch to the left side of your screen, he was not accounted for. In other words, Northern Illinois had more players to that side of the field than the Eastern Michigan offense could account for. That was a great call and a great blitz. 74 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, and 1 interception. He is everywhere. He is a relentless pass rusher. He also can get back in pass coverage. Outstanding football player.
Benz has got to step up on 3rd and 15, and he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but closing down quickly for Northern Illinois was Joe Windsor. Windsor, one of the backup defensive ends who made the hit, and that now will force Ron English at Eastern Michigan to punt the football away. Had a drive going until Tyrone Clark came up with that 2nd down sack.
Well, he's a senior out of St. Louis, Missouri, high school captain. Outstanding young man in the classroom. And again, there was no accounting for him to that side of the field for Eastern Michigan.
Jay Carruth, so a line drive this kick, and you see that got a boost from this breeze. All right, Thanksgiving weekend with the snow showers falling here in Rynearson Stadium at Eastern Michigan University. Northern Illinois with the football back in 7. We might have to break into songs of the season pretty soon here as, Thanksgiving weekend with the white stuff now here at Rynearson Stadium. Jordan Lynch with his first down throw as Northern Illinois trying to add to their 14-7 lead, and he will hit Martell Moore. Moore got 9 to bring up 2nd and short for, again, this is one of the most prolific offenses in all of college football. They average right at 40 points per game.
Well, this young guy on their center here, Jordan Lynch, I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, he can do it all. I mean, he has all the throws, he has all the runs. He runs the football up the middle. He looks like a fullback. He gets out on the flanks. He looks like a tailback. Has all the throws, the short hitches, can put enough air under the ball for the screen passes, throws the ball well downfield. I can't say enough about the young guy.
No, he's been fabulous this year from Mount Carmel High School in Chicago, and Akeem Daniels just ran for that first down on 2nd and short as you look at the total yardage today. Now Lynch on that zone read will keep the football, and he's going to get about 7 on first down, and we have got an Eastern Michigan defender down on the field.
Looks like Belfie.
The strong safety, free safety, Alex Belfie. Belfie got a piece of Lynch. We've seen Lynch with just some crushing plays this year in terms of him carrying the football and just trucking defensive players.
Well, as Eastern Michigan goes through this maturation, if you will, to where Ron English wants to be. One of the things I think they're going to have to really emphasize are special teams. Make some of these teams that are a bit more established play on a long field.
It's 2nd and 3. That's Akeem Daniels with a call as Northern Illinois keep the football on the ground. And those of you watching below the Mason-Dixon line today here at the Rynearson Stadium, this is what it usually happens around this time of year up here in the northern part of the country. And, Bob, it was over 60 degrees and beautiful all week long here in the state of Michigan. Lynch with time. Now that pocket is going to cave, but Lynch is coming out the backside. And got tracked down by Brian Pally, the senior linebacker who made the hit. But Lynch was maybe one more block from taking that a long distance.
I mean, you cannot say enough about a mobile quarterback. You know, the term they use now is he extends the play. He extends the play. You're in a pure straight drop back quarterback situation, and that's a sack.
Lynch with a jet sweep to Tommy Lee Lewis, and Lewis, the touchdown maker of a moment ago, on that 2nd down carry, got 5 on that jet sweep. And by the way, Bob, that touchdown return for Lewis was the 3rd of his career. Sole possession now of the Northern Illinois career record for kickoff returns. 1st this year, but 3rd of his career.
One of the young guys in that offensive line from Northern Illinois I'd like to single out is Ryan Brown. Young guy out of Elburn, Illinois, St. Charles North High School, 6'6", 283. He's been a right tackle. He has been a right tackle. He moved to left tackle and is doing an outstanding job. And one of the things we talk about, the left tackle position. How important is your left tackle? He basically has the backside, covers the backside of a right-handed quarterback. And to go from the right side to the left side and have success the way he has is a real credit to this young man.
They've done a very nice job. Jordan Lynch on 3rd and 1 picked up the 1st down. Donald Coleman made that stop. So Northern Illinois with their touchdown lead at the 7-minute mark here of the 2nd quarter and on the move. That straight quarterback draw, and this is Jordan Lynch, the 2nd level before he got taken down, but he got 9 and is going to bring up 2nd and short.
Credit Andrew Ness, number 55, the center from Northern Illinois, with an outstanding block on Justin Codworth. I mean, coming off the football, talking about athleticism, wow.
And Lynch got 9, 2nd down and 1, and then this is Bob Kamel told you earlier on. I mean, there was a bunch of 4th and 5th year seniors for the last couple, 2-3 years that had started between 35 and 50 football games for Northern Illinois that graduated. And so this is a new bunch up front trying to get a push as Akeem Daniels got stood up. So for the first time today, Cy Moffmer and Kalanji Kashama along the front 4 of the Eastern Michigan defensive side. Got a stop there on Daniels. Oh, they did give him enough forward momentum as you look at Dave Doran, the head football coach. 21-4, Bob Kamel, looking to go to 22-4 if they could cap off an undefeated MAC season today.
You know, when you inherit a good football team, as Dave Doran has, a lot of times the pressure is even greater than when you inherit a football team that's been struggling, because you are held to a higher standard immediately.
Jordan Lynch had to pull that football down as he was looking to, he wanted to air that out in the end zone. He had Perez Ashford in the end zone, but pulled it down and got stood up right near the line of scrimmage to bring up 2nd and 10 as the stop was made by Blake Poole, the linebacker.
You know, Dave Doran comes from the University of Wisconsin with Brett Belima, and Brett Belima obviously coached for Barry Alvarez. That is some coaching pedigree. I mean, that's how young coaches are developed. They coach for great programs, coach for great coaches, coaching in programs that have had a lineage of success.
There's that zone read again as Jordan Lynch will power his way up near the 1st down stick's going to bring up 3rd and short. Well, that zone read is the staple of Jordan Lynch in Northern Illinois.
Well, it's basically just, get a hat on a hat, take the defensive player where he's going to go, and then make the breakup. Jordan Lynch, 50 rushes. I mean, my goodness, he is really run the football, throw the football, and here we go again with a quarterback draw.
And he'll pick up the first down as he spun off a hit. Only got a couple, but only needed one. So now Northern Illinois with that football right at the 20-yard line will put them in the red zone as they try to stretch beyond a one-possession lead here. As you see it wind down, approaching the 4-minute mark in quarter number 2.
Well, one of the things as you look at the Eastern Michigan defense that's just been on the field so long, that just starts to wear on you, especially with those defensive linemen, as we mentioned earlier.
Now this is Akeem Daniels trying to get a push from Jared Volk, and Daniels came out the backside, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Northern Illinois. The second TD burst for Akeem Daniels today. And at 5'8", he got hid behind that offensive line like Jared Volk, and then Bob out the back door.
Well, we're going to see it right here. Great block by the center, Ness. As you mentioned, I knew you were going to say he was hiding behind those big guys, but he was. But what made that successful was that he was relentless. He kept his feet moving, kept his head up, and comes out the backside, as you said. Andrew Ness, Aiden Conlon, Matt Krempel on the right side of that line. Yeah, really a great job. And a determined run by the young guy.
Oh, yes, it was. Matthew Sims to add his third PAT of the day. And in the snowy conditions here at Rynearson Stadium, Sims will do that. Akeem Daniels out of Kissimmee, Florida, with a pair of touchdown runs in the first half, a 25-yarder, and now here a 20-yarder. He's going to go down to the snowy turf, right? No, outside the back door and to the house. 21-7, Northern Illinois. Welcome back to a snowy Rynearson Stadium here in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Northern Illinois in the second of Akeem Daniels, the outstanding running back for the Northern Illinois Huskies. His second touchdown run of the first half. Northern Illinois now with a 21-7 lead. And why this is so important, even though they've wrapped up the MAC West for the third consecutive year, they are chasing their 11th consecutive win. They already have the top longest unbeaten streak in the Football Bowl subdivision, and trying to add on to it a little bit more. Oh, what a stick there, as coming down on the kick return team is Eastern Michigan's Darius Jackson. Just got absolutely leveled by Giorgio Bowers. Bowers with a big hit and had some help from Trey Moore.
That is an outstanding special teams play. And again, it is a reflection of the tackling ability. Scoring drive for Northern, 13 plays, 80 yards. Here, almost 6 minutes into drive. Defenses time and again have a goal, no drive over 12 plays. When you get into 13 plays, you're getting into trouble or thereabouts.
Yeah, you saw Dave Doran a moment ago as he pierced through the snow now. He's got a 14-point lead as he turns it over to his defense. Tyler Benz, the third-year sophomore at the helm. They'll go back to the ground game with Eastern Michigan, and not a whole lot there for the running back Bronson Hill. Oh, Hill has had an exceptional sophomore year here in Ypsilanti. When you look at it, Bob, he comes in here, close to 900 yards, and he's averaged almost 7 yards a carry with his 6 touchdowns.
I think this young guy is a sophomore, and again, as Coach English starts to, get more of an identity of Bronson Hill will be a bigger part of this. 77 yards, right down the line. 111 yards at Ohio, 185 yards at, Army, and 283 yards. That is some great running by that tailback.
Alex Gillette just nowhere to go, so the senior got taken down by Kenny Bishop. Bishop, you wouldn't think he's a 300-pounder, would you, out of Lauderhill, Florida? But, boy, that's called get-off, right, Coach Kamel?
The first step. When you're evaluating a defensive lineman, how quick is that first step? And look at it right here, and then coming in and wrapping up and making the play. And, again, they tackle well across the board, whether it's the linebackers, the secondary, or the down linemen. And, again, tackling a dying breed. We hear it time and again, a dying art, so to speak. This team tackles well, and that's why they're so successful from a defensive standpoint. That and a lot of other reasons, the other one being the great pursuit that they have.
They've got Eastern Michigan in a 3rd and 12 right now. What does Tyler Benz come up with? He's going to throw the seam route, and he had it on the hands of Alex Gillette, but Gillette was not able to haul the football in as they ran him up the seam and tried to get that matchup. But you see Rashawn Melvin and Jimmy Ward. I think those two, you just saw them, number 11, Rashawn Melvin, and the free safety, Jimmy Ward, two of the best we have in the secondary in the MAC.
You know, as we watch Gillette come off the field, throw his glove down, and that's a catch that he thought he should have made, even with the coverage of Rashawn Melvin.
So we have 4th down at 12 now, and back in the deep spot for Northern Illinois, Angelo Sebastiano. And Jay Carruth's just got it away. Sebastiano near the midfield stripe. And a pretty good cut to get into Eastern Michigan territory. There's still 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second quarter. When we get back, Eastern Michigan dearly needs a stop here. Already down by 14. Dave Doran in Northern Illinois seeking their 11th win in a row. They'll get the football when we get back. Snowy right near Ryerson Stadium here during this Thanksgiving weekend. Great to have you with us, everybody. Michael Regai, Bob Kamel, our producer director, Jeff Bentley, all of the crew. That's Dave Doran, and Dave Doran is trying, he said he knows his football team wants to do exactly what the 23rd ranked Kent State Golden Flashes did in the MAC East. They go 8-0 in the MAC. They're 11-1 on the year. They beat Ohio in the finale at Dick Stadium 28-6. Congratulations to Darrell Hazel in a phenomenal 11-1 overall and perfect 8-0 MAC football season. Now this is Akeem Daniels, and Daniels on that jet sweep will get 7 on that first down carry. Bob Kamel, what a fabulous job Darrell Hazel and Kent State has done, and the two tremendous top 25 programs, Kent State MAC East, Northern Illinois MAC West.
Well, he's taken Kent State's football fortunes to another level, and it's been time, because it has been a long time, Michael, a long time. And again, hats off to him and his entire staff and the entire Kent State football community.
Brian Rock, the offensive coordinator.
Who we know very well.
Yep, John Haycock, the defensive coordinator. Now that football got jarred out of the hands of Jordan Lynch, and it'll fall incomplete as Eastern Michigan trying to get some heat on in that front four. And that was an opportunity for them with that football up in the air to maybe come up with a turnover, but weren't able to do it. I think that was Aaron Pipkins, number 9. Actually, it was Travis Linser who got a hand on the football, number 76. So now a 3rd down, and let's call it 4 with 1:45 left in the second quarter, and Northern Illinois on top by 2 touchdowns. Jordan Lynch gonna come underneath, and it was dropped. That is something that you're not going to see happen too often, as that football was dropped. As not able to haul that in for Northern Illinois. I think that was at one of the backup tight ends that they snuck on the football field. Yeah, that was Jawan Breskison, who wasn't able to haul that in, the wide receiver Breskison.
Ryan Neer back to punt.
Ryan Neer now is going to boot it away. And before that Neer got that punt off, though, we had a stoppage of play on 4th and 3.
Let's go! First down! Illegal substitution. On the defense, 12 men on the field, in formation, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Week 12, and you get a 12th man on the field on your kick return team?
Not good, Michael. Not good at all. You know, there has to be some accountability for that type of situation by one of the assistant coaches, and I'm sure Coach English isn't going to let them know about that. I mean, 12 men on the field gives Northern Illinois another chance with 1:36 left to get on the board again, and you're playing against a guy like Jordan Lynch. That should never happen.
That quick hitch is completed to Deron Brown. Brown got 5, and Northern Illinois, by the way, Bob, has their full complement of timeouts. They've got all three for Dave Doran to use.
Well, Dave Doran said last week, when they talked about, you've clinched the title, you're going to play in the championship game. He said that's not our thought right now. Our thought is to go out there and play our best football and win this football game and take momentum into the championship game.
Well, Lynch will hook up on that second down throw to Akeem Daniels, who's had a couple of rushing touchdowns here in the opening half. Going to bring up 3rd and short.
If there was ever a football team that reflects the personality of its coach, it's the Northern Illinois Huskies with Dave Doran. I mean, he is all business.
It's buttoned down, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Lynch going to air it out deep for Tommy Lee Lewis, and he missed him, incomplete, to bring up 4th down and 2. Now, what does Dave Doran want to do here? His defense is playing very well. It's going to be 4th down and 2 with 1:03 left in the first half and already up by 14 points.
I think he's going to challenge his offense here. I don't think he wants to give the football up. I think he's going to challenge his offense to the first down and then rely on his defense. 4th downs, made 14, attempted 19, 11 out of 14. I mean, those are things that, again, you practice that. You have a period for that. 4th down and 2, 4th down and 3, 4th down and long if it needed it toward the end of the football game.
Those are tremendous conversion rates on 4th down. Now 14 and 19.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, and again, that you practice that. You practice these types of situations. Now, you can never replicate the game speed in practice. I don't care, try as you may. But at the same time, you have to set up situations where your team becomes familiar when it does come down to 4th and 2. What are we looking for? What can we hang our hat on?
And speaking of what we're looking for, Bob, and we just discussed it a moment ago, and I mean, Coach Kamel, you certainly brought up the tremendous amount of football production now that the Mid-American Conference continues to get, but top 25s going to the MAC championship game. Kent State 23, Northern Illinois 25. If Northern Illinois wins today, they're both going to be 11-1 heading into Detroit. What a tremendous year it's been, with 16 wins, by the way, over FBS non-conference foes this year for the MAC. It's been superb.
I mean, if you're a high school football player and you have an opportunity to play for a Mid-American team, my advice is to take a good, hard look at the type of football that you will play in the Mid-American Conference and who you will play, because there's an outstanding cadre of coaches in this conference.
On 4th and 2, Jordan Lynch just hit Martell Moore, and he's going to take it the distance. Touchdown, Northern Illinois, on a short, shallow crossing route. Martell Moore got to the boundary, outran the secondary of Eastern Michigan, and took it to the zone.
I mean, Michael, this is an unbelievable call, because it's all about yards after catch. And there we go, snuck right underneath the deep coverage, behind the linebackers, in front of the safeties, took the ball upfield, and then it was just, my goodness, just a foot race. Don't forget, this guy's a 110 high hurdle champion and a long jump champion for the state of Texas.
And think about it, if it were not for that illegal substitution on Eastern Michigan on a 4th down and 4 that cost them the opportunity to get the ball back, we might be talking about an Eastern Michigan drive going on right now. Matthew Sims adds some PAT, and instead it's 28-7.
As you called Martell Moore going into the end zone, that was my first thought. A foolish penalty, and as they say in tennis, an unforced error. 12 men on the field, last game of the season, should never happen.
And Jordan Lynch makes Eastern Michigan pay for it, and pay for it dearly. Lynch, a young man that we believe legitimately should be getting Heisman Trophy recognition, has just hit on his 23rd touchdown throw of the year, a 43-yard touchdown pass to Martell Moore. And Bob Kamel, you ready for this? The 11th touchdown catch of the season. That even someone as terrible as I am in math know that is pretty much about one for every football game you play, as his 11th of the year for Martell Moore.
And the drive, 7 plays, 65 yards. I mean, these are big chunks of offensive yardage as he moves the ball down the field. And again, and Eastern Michigan's offense is standing on the sideline and watching this. But it comes back down to that penalty. That is, for lack of a better way to put it, I mean, for a head coach, Coach English, I mean, and he will address that, I'm sure, that's ridiculous at this point in time. Those are things, again, that you practice. I mean, scoring offense, Northern Illinois, 39 points. I mean, my goodness. And it's almost methodical for this football team.
Yeah, and those are the kind of things that really get you hurt. On that kickoff return for the Eagles of Eastern Michigan, and the return was handled by Eastern Michigan's Darius Jackson, the freshman running back. And now with 45 seconds left in this first half, Eastern Michigan will get the football again.
If I'm Ron English, I am very conservative right here. I mean, there is no chance, no way to put the football back in Northern Illinois' hands, even with 45 seconds left in the game. Now, Northern Illinois, on the other hand, has 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, that they do, and so as we said, as they were in the midst of their last drive, they had all 3. So let's see how Ron English decides to make this happen here. 28-7, Northern Illinois. Tyler Benz had that throw almost picked off. Tyrone Clark. We've called Clark's name 4 or 5 times today. He had the big sack of Tyler Benz, and now just had that pass defensed as he knocked it away.
As I see it right now with the Eastern Michigan offense, right now they are in search of an identity. The play calling has been somewhat grab bag, but when you get in a situation where you're so hard pressed to move the football downfield as an offensive coordinator because of the prolific offense of Northern Illinois and their scoring threat, it becomes difficult to call plays.
Ben's trying to step up and buy time, and he's going to get engulfed after a gain of about 3. He's tried to push forward as that front 4 that we've called all day long, Alan Baxter and Sean Progar, the defensive ends, and the ball Jefferson, Kenny Bishop, the D tackles, Joe Windsor, Donovan Gordon, the backups. Now Dave Doran opting not to use a timeout here, and Eastern Michigan can let this thing wind down. That's what they're going to do. 30 minutes of football in the books. When we get back, we will speak to Jeff Comfort, the athletic director at Northern Illinois, about what's still to come for this Husky football program. Don't go away. 30 minutes in the books. 28-7 Northern Illinois. 2 Akeem Daniels touchdown runs, the touchdown throw from Jordan Lynch to Martell Moore, and the big bomb of the half, the touchdown kickoff return from Tommy Lee Lewis. 28-7, Northern Illinois on top. Halftime coming up out of Rynearson Stadium next on ESPN3. Welcome back, everybody, in this Thanksgiving weekend, Rynearson Stadium here in the campus of Eastern Michigan University. A big explosive first half for Northern Illinois. Nothing surprising there as the 25th ranked Huskies with a 28-7 halftime lead. Great to see you, everyone. Michael Regai, pleased to be joined by the athletic director at Northern Illinois. If he's wearing a broad smile, he should be this Thanksgiving weekend, Jeff Comfort. Jeff, it's been a sensational ride, as we know, and I got to start with Dave Doran here on the football side because won 21 to 25 football games, another MAC West Division crown. What was it about Dave Doran that all of you at Northern felt this guy will be the perfect fit to be the leader of this program?
Well, there were several things. I think, first of all, his experience, 16 years as an assistant coach, a coordinator, a recruiting coordinator, most of that in the Midwest. And he came from great programs, Kansas State, Wisconsin, Drake, where he started, and those are the things that we look for, that kind of experience and his intensity and his competitiveness.
Jeff, the success has been phenomenal, obviously. Can you give us a sense of what does a football season like you've really put together over the pretty much the last decade, actually, but Northern Illinois football seemingly now getting recognized all over the college football blueprint of its success, its stability, and its ability to continue to go forward?
Well, I think it's a real sign of the commitment our university has made to our athletics program and to the university in general. They understand what a great football program means to the university, and they've continued to help us out and make sure that they supported us and did everything we could to continue this kind and build this kind of winning program that we had. And as you mentioned, this might be the 3rd year in a row we've had 11 straight wins.
Yep, it is the most wins right now. Looking at win number 11 in a row, that tops the FBS, any conference, anywhere. And as you can see, we're taking a peek of what has transpired with the Husky program over the course of the last 3 football seasons. But Jeff, you mentioned facility-wise as well. When you have success like this, is it a little bit easier not only to from the athletic side, but as it ties into everything with campus life, academically, athletically? Do you see the boost? Do you see the jump in everything in Husky land?
Yeah, I really do. And I think it took a few years ago, 6 years, 7 years ago, when several of our supporters made a huge commitment to build the Jordan Center in our end zone. And from there, the success started to happen. It was almost a build it and there will come kind of a mentality. And now we're building the Chesapeake Indoor Practice Center. And now that has started, and we've broken ground on that. So, yeah, I think that commitment, that support, that vision from our supporters and our administration really helped that go.
And a week from today in the MAC championship game, and really we have mirror situations going on this year. Northern Illinois looking to go 11-1, 8-0 in the MAC West. And Jeff, as you know, Darrell Hazel and Kent State, they accomplished the same thing with a win today. That should be a very, very strong tribute to MAC football next Friday in Detroit.
Yeah, 2 great programs in our conference, and I think having those kinds of records for both of our programs within our conference means a lot, because as you know, this conference has played some great teams around the country this year and has had a lot of success.
No question about it. Let's hope there might be as many as 7 bowls to Mid-American Conference squads coming up if Central Michigan could beat UMass on Saturday. Jeff, outstanding. Congratulations.
Appreciate it very much, Michael. Thank you.
Great to see you. Jeff Comfort, the outstanding athletic director at Northern Illinois. Don't go away. A lot more to come. Huskies with a strong first half, as is their norm. They lead Eastern Michigan 28-7. More coming up on ESPN. What could be better on this Thanksgiving weekend? Snow showers in the first half, MAC football here on the campus at Eastern Michigan University, and all of you. We know you're enjoying it. Good to have you along. 28-7, Northern Illinois seeking their 11th win in a row, leads Eastern Michigan. I'm Michael Regai, my partner, the longtime college football coach, Bob Kamel. And Robert, like I said, we got snowstorms on Thanksgiving weekend. Bob and I went through a thunder and lightning storm a couple of years ago. How long did we speak and before they hooked us?
About a half an hour. We could have gone an entire hour, but about a half an hour that day at Kent State.
So, yeah, we have experience in that sort of thing. Mid-American Conference has had a banner 2012 on the college football side. Bob, as we were saying to Jeff Comfer a moment ago, could have as many as 7 football squads bowl eligible if Central Michigan can pick up their 6th win of the year. But it has been a testament and a tribute, as you were saying in the first half, to the type of football and the blueprint laid down now by the Mid-American Conference coaches.
Well, one of the things I think was really important years ago when they went to 85 scholarships. Many of the young men that play in the Mid-American Conference right now could possibly be on Big Ten rosters, Southeast Conference rosters, and you know, things that, plays of that nature. But now they're on these teams, and you know what? The Mid-American Conference has made its place in the greater scheme of college football. And as I said before, this is not your grandfather's Mid-American Conference. This is big-time football.
We like that expression from Bob Cabell. As you're seeing graphically, you got possibly you got an 11-win football team in Kent State right now. If Northern Illinois wins this one, they're an 11-win football team. Toledo's won 9. You've got Ball State and Ohio with 8 wins. Bowling Green with 7. This has been the kind of year it's been in, Bob. 16 non-conference wins over FBS conferences this year. BCS conference has been terrific.
Well, I think that dots the I and crosses the T to my original statement. They're going out of conference now, playing in conferences that were in the past considered a step above the MAC and beating these teams.
Yeah, they have, no question about that. And you're seeing one of them on display today in Northern Illinois. The Huskies with a 21-point lead, and they've done it offensively about every way imaginable under the direction of the trigger man. I mean, he's the guy at the throttle, Jordan Lynch. And, Bob, we realistically believe that if you're talking about Heisman Trophy in this the country, as I speak right here, in this country, you've got to include Jordan Lynch among the conversation. He's been that good.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, I don't have a Heisman Trophy ballot vote, okay? But if I had a virtual ballot, my ballot's going to Jordan Lynch.
Yeah, Jordan Lynch has been phenomenal this year as he continues to, leading rusher in the Mid-American Conference and number 3 in the FBS. He's been that good. Sometimes I think, though, that as good as Northern's offense is, their defense gets lost gets lost in the offense's production. We'll get into that in the second half. All right, don't go away. 28-7 halftime. Northern Illinois on top of Eastern Michigan. More coming up out of Rynearson Stadium when we get back. Northern Illinois looking for the clean sweep here at 2012 in the MAC West. They've won their third straight MAC West Division crown, and now they're trying to go 8-0 and 11-1 in the season. They lead Eastern Michigan 28-7. Michael Regai, my partner, the coach, Bob Kamel. And Bobby, what do you say we take a look at how all of this unfolded in the first half as Eastern Michigan was hanging there, and they got hit by some big Northern Illinois plays. It started with the Akeem Daniels 25-yard TD run.
Well, Akeem Daniels here, as I mentioned, he hits that linebacker depth. He's got another gear. Credit that offensive line. Now we come back with Eastern Michigan coming out of the bootleg pass with Tyler Benz showing great poise, squaring his shoulders up. Now we come right back to a special teams play. This probably the play of the first half that really hurt Eastern Michigan. They come out and they score, and now they come back, kick off to Northern Illinois, and there he goes, Tommy Lee Lewis for the touchdown. Here we are again under blizzard conditions, Michael. And Akeem again, credit that offensive line, but credit to him. He hit that seam, and it looked like he was stopped. As you mentioned before, he just kind of hid behind there. But again, Jordan Lynch, I mean, the complete quarterback. Throws the ball, runs the ball, has all the throws, the short throw, the long throw. Martell Moore, great job there, yards after catch, getting up the field and getting into the end zone.
It all spells 28-7. And, Bob, there are the numbers, and you see 140 of the yards for Northern Illinois came in that second quarter. And, Eastern Michigan, I'm sure Ron English would like to be able to run the football a little bit better.
Well, I think he's going to have to run the football. But, you're in a situation like this in play calling, it's 28-7. You'd like to run the football. But can you establish enough of a running game where the play-action passes become successful? Or, right now you can't push the panic button. You have to do what you do, and, you have to hang your hat on the things that you've done in practice. You can't change your offense radically. One of the things for Eastern Michigan's offense right now, as I see it, they need an identity. They really are an offense right now without an identity. It's been somewhat grab bag. But the reason for that is because of the Northern Illinois defense playing so well. Things seem to work, and then Northern Illinois makes an adjustment. They come back. They stop that particular aspect. Now you're trying to throw the football. I mean, again, if I'm Eastern Michigan right now, I'm going to establish the run, and I'm going to establish it to the left side of my offensive line, because those guys there, Neal and Sorgatz, these are big-time guys that you mentioned, Michael, earlier, that'll probably play on Sunday.
Yep, and we'll see if Northern Illinois could get a little bit of an offensive boost from the ground game in the second half. The 2 sacks and the 4 tackles for loss, that just implies everything that has been so consistent about the Northern Illinois defense all year long. All right, we're about ready for the second half to get kicked off, and we'll get you back to Rynearson Stadium to do that and more of this drive of Northern Illinois to be perfect at 8-0 in the MAC and go to 11-1 in the year to join Kent State with those numbers in the MAC championship game next week. Welcome back, everybody. That number 6 in white, in our opinion, has done as much as any quarterback in college football this year to be the linchpin and the ringleader of an offense. And Bob, we showed that graphic in the first half. Jordan Lynch in the offensive run game company, more yards per game on the ground than Denard Robertson of Michigan, more than Braxton Miller of Ohio State. I mean, this young man has made a case this year that he belongs among the elite of college football's most outstanding players.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Michael. And again, you mentioned and Jeff Comfer mentioned. Look at these numbers: 51 rushes, 75 passes, 126 total. I mean, those numbers are phenomenal. And Jeff Comfer, the athletic director at Northern Illinois, when you had him in on at the half, talked about Northern the conference playing up to its expectations and beyond, and going out of conference and winning so many fine football games. That's why when we showed the graphic earlier with him and the young man from Michigan State and Ohio State, he belongs in that picture. There's no question. And and again, the Mid-American Conference constantly improving the product, so to speak, and the improving in the coaching, the improvement in the players they're able to attract. That's why I say Jordan Lynch belongs in that company.
Right, and so many people have asked us about how many bowl bids could possibly, as you look at Dave Doran, the head coach of Northern Illinois, how many bowl bids could Dr. John Steinbrecher, the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, approve? We'll discuss that in the second half. You have the 3 automatic bowl bids, of course, that the MAC gets. And there's possibly as many as 5 more tie-ins. You've got 70 slots to be filled, right, in the 35 bowl games this year. So there's a tremendous opportunity that at least 6 Mid-American Conference squads could be bowling when we start the bowl season in about 3 weeks.
And deservedly so.
Absolutely. So it'll be Northern Illinois to get their hands on the football to start this second half. And they've got the 28-7 lead. We had the snow showers here in the first half. Temperatures were in the mid-50s to over 60 degrees all week long here in Michigan and the Midwest. But the front came in today, and things have changed, of course. But for Northern Illinois, I mean, they're not called the Huskies. The Huskies know how to deal with the snow and the inclement weather around DeKalb, Illinois, their hometown, and around the Mid-American Conference, as this kickoff return to begin the second half is from Tommy Lee Lewis. Lewis took his 3rd of his career kickoff return, that is, to the house in the first half for a touchdown. And so let's bring out again Jordan Lynch and this Northern Illinois offense.
Well, you mentioned that first half, that touchdown at Tommy Lee Lewis. That touchdown from Tommy Lee Lewis really, really hurt Eastern Michigan. But then they come back out and have a chance to stop Northern Illinois and have 12 men on the field. Consequently, that's a 14-point turnover from the kickoff return for the touchdown, and then obviously giving Northern Illinois the football back after having 12 men on the field and a penalty, and giving Northern Illinois a first down.
This first snap of the third quarter, pitch and catch, as Jordan Lynch will connect with Martell Moore. That's for 13 yards and a first down at the 40-yard line. Now, Jordan Lynch, we're going to, on this drive, let's go through some of the outstanding marks of this young man. You see there the power that he runs that quarterback zone read with as he gets 6 on first down.
Well, he fakes the handoff, or he detaches, he makes the read, then he finds that lateral crease between the right guard and the right tackle, takes the football upfield. As I mentioned before, when he runs inside the tackles, he runs like a fullback. When he gets out on the perimeter, he looks like a running back.
He got 5 there. He accounts for, you ready for this, 76% of the Northern Illinois offense off play action. He thought about loading it up deep, and now he's got what he wanted in Akeem Daniels wide open, but he short-hopped that throw on the sideline. No Eastern Michigan defender accounting for Akeem Daniels, but it fell incomplete.
Well, this reflects his, the vision he has of the entire secondary. And never take that for granted. I mean, he went through a progression. He wanted to throw that post route deep, and it was covered. So he comes up, pulls up, and throws that little hitch out to the sideline there that, probably a little more air than that football, and Northern Illinois is in the end zone again.
On 3rd and 5 now, Jordan Lynch, who leads all of the FBS, 136 yards plus on the ground, and he's starting to the right, and he'll throw that football to Deron Brown. He's got a first down on that catch, so move the sticks again for Northern Illinois.
Though you mentioned that Jordan Lynch is from Mount Carmel High School, which is in the old Catholic League on the south side of Chicago. Tomorrow, his team will play for the state championship.
Yeah, they are, and of course, there's Jordan Lynch. Look at the third quarter against Toledo. Now, this is the third quarter now. That's not the football game, ladies and gentlemen. That's 346 yards in the third quarter. He's going to come underneath and zipped that throw that's caught by Martell Moore. Eastern Michigan's secondary on that is up making the hit was the free safety Alex Belfie along with Kirkland Bryant.
You know, I mentioned this team will play for the state championship in Illinois tomorrow. Head coach there, Frank Lenti. I believe at this time Frank is the winningest active high school football coach in the state of Illinois. Frank has done a marvelous job at Mount Carmel in that tough Catholic league in Chicago.
Jordan Lynch with 46 touchdowns in his Northern Illinois career, and he's on target there as he's got that 7-yard out on the money to Martell Moore. It's going to bring up 3rd down and short now. Kinesiology and exercise science major Bob Kamel is Jordan Lynch. And remember, he was captain. You talk about that Chicago lineage. He was captain of the 2009 USA Football Gold Medal Junior National Team, and that's while he was ready to come in here. And remember, he had to understudy and learn all about it under Chandler Harnish for 2 years here.
Chandler Harnish, a great mentor to him.
Now Lynch will start option left. He got popped there as Eastern Michigan, they're saying, well, we got to take opportunity and put some shots on him. Omar McFarland made the stop. And here is Jordan Lynch and Chandler Harnish the last couple of seasons. You talk about prolific numbers, there they are.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, rushing yards, 1,560, 1,379. I mean, right on line, total yards per game, 371, 382. These numbers are phenomenal. The one thing in talking to the Northern Illinois personnel, the people in the football program, they say these two guys are as different as could be from a personality standpoint, but they both get the job done. Two great leaders. Completion 63 to 61. I mean, they're just a mirror image of each other. And, that doesn't happen where you lose a great quarterback like that and then have another young guy come in and step in. But, again, I mentioned this before and I mentioned it in the past. They have like abilities. They didn't have to adjust the offense radically because of the change in their abilities.
This is 4th and 2, and Jordan Lynch, again, using that power. That's just a straight isolation on that quarterback draw from Jordan Lynch, and he's got a 1st down again. Back to what you were saying, we've discussed it a lot with Rod Carey, the offensive coordinator, and head coach Dave Dorn, and cerebral and very studious and all with regard to the football side was Chandler Harnish. But this guy, Jordan Lynch, to use the basketball term, more of a gym rat, according to the coaches. Weight room all the time, wanting to be out and going to work with his receivers and running backs every chance he gets. And that's what's made him special. And this is Lynch to the edge now. Spun out of a tackle, Jordan Lynch did, and he'll power his way inside the 20-yard line as Lynch was able to get out of that tackle of Marcel Rose and spun his way for a big gain on the ground.
Talking about the Eastern Michigan University defense, these young guys came in the first quarter. They came to play. And, I mean, they really showed signs of being a really good defense. But they have, Michael, they've just been on the field too long. I mean, they have to be exhausted.
Yeah, they are. Red zone time again for Northern Illinois as they try to add to their 3-touchdown lead. This is Akeem Daniels. He's to the house again. See you later. Akeem Daniels, another touchdown. Same play as a 25-yard touchdown bolt in the first quarter. 20 yards to the house there to blow it open for Northern Illinois.
Look at this offensive line, the right side of that offensive line. Krempel, Collin, Ness, Folk, and the left side too, Ryan Brown. Very well coached offensive line. Great technique, great first step. When I talk about technique with offensive linemen, I mean, where's your first step? Where do you put your hand? I mean, how do you play in unison in conjunction with the young guy to your right or to your left?
Matthew Sims to add the PAT, and he'll line drive that through. And in the first 4 minutes and 16 seconds of this third quarter, Akeem Daniels. Daniels with his 7th touchdown of the year, his 3rd of the afternoon, making it happen for Northern Illinois. Back to Ryan Earson in a moment. At Northern Illinois sideline, got to be feeling good. They know now with a 4-touchdown lead, they got to keep grinding this out. You mentioned the offensive line, Bob Kamel. Akeem Daniels has had a big day behind them.
I mean, Jared Volk, talking about coming off the football, the left guard, number 77, and I mentioned Ryan Brown before, but this Andrew Ness, a redshirt freshman center, just a really, really talented offensive line. Akeem Daniels, 9 rushes for 92 yards. I mean, you're a Cass Tech grad. You do the numbers here.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning my football strong alma mater that, by the way, since you brought it up, Thomas Wilcher, the head coach, former Bo Schembechler tailback in Michigan, will be playing to win their second consecutive big school championship here in Michigan tomorrow at Ford Field, though against another tremendous program, Tom Mack.
Tom Mack's program. You know, but if the tailback from Cass Tech has the heart of a Thomas Wilcher, you talk about a young guy who, I mean, just has done marvelous things and giving back to the Detroit community.
That's the key part there from Detroit Central High School. The city of Detroit, just about 30 miles here to the east of the city of Ypsilanti. And this is Tyler Allen on the return with that late flag flying. The good thing about today, that's one of the few flags we've had today, although one we did have on a 4th down and 4 where Eastern Michigan, their punt return team, had 12 men in the huddle, really cost them.
During the return, holding the return team, number 54, 10-yard penalty, first down.
All right, let's see what Ron English and his offense gets, Bob. And, you know, here it is. You got a feeling. Coach English told us as we chatted with him this week that, you know, he's played a lot of young players, a lot of freshmen and redshirt freshmen and true sophomores as this year has gone on. Here's one of them in Tyler Benz, and we'll see how many more of them we see in the season finale in the second half.
You know, you mentioned Detroit. I had an opportunity to recruit in Detroit for many years, and especially in the PSL. I shouldn't say especially in the PSL. The greater Detroit area, there's a fraternity of high school coaches there that I really think, you know, Coach English really needs to. It really needs to create relationships with. I remember some of the coaches that I dealt with from the PSL, from the Catholic League. I mean, an outstanding fraternity of coaches. I would do anything and everything if I were Ron English to get into Detroit, immerse myself with those two conferences and the outlying conferences and attract young guys to Eastern Michigan University.
You're right, and we've discussed that with Ron English. And, of course, from his time, you know, he did 5 years on Lloyd Carr's staff as a defensive coordinator at Michigan. He's well aware of that, that has got to be a recruiting stronghold. All right, Dominic Shearer got a couple on first down. Now here's a toss sweep to the number 1 tailback of this football team. That's Bronson Hill. Only got a couple. Again, we called him the Ball Jefferson. What a quick get off he has. 295-pound senior, National Football Foundation Postgraduate Award for Shearer. Jefferson, who wears number 99 at the heart of that defense. Speaking of Hart, there's Michael Hart, the running backs coach here at Eastern Michigan. We'll get another shot of Michael Hart. How about that? I'm talking about in the ball. There's Mike Hart, the all-time leading ground gainer in the history of the University of Michigan. This is 3rd down and 10 now. And that throw from Tyler Benz is going to short hop Alex Gillette, going to bring up 4th down, and Eastern Michigan will have to kick it away. Michael Hart getting a beginning of his coaching career here for head coach Ron English, running backs coach Mike Hart here at Eastern Michigan.
A quality young man who will have a great influence on the running backs here at Eastern Michigan. He knows what it's all about. Again, Michael, we mentioned this time and again early on. You know, the whole deal with Northern Illinois is, you talk about Northern Illinois, it's Jordan Lynch, the offense, but this defense, this is a stout defense, 7 guys up front that play hard, make great plays, sack the quarterback, and the secondary, I mean, as good a cover guys as you'll find, and again, excellent tacklers.
Yeah, not a bad return for Angelo Sebastiano off that Eastern Michigan punt from Jay Carutz. And once again, Jordan Lynch and Northern Illinois going to be playing on the Eastern Michigan side of the football. Bob Kamel, we were discussing the automatic bowl tie-ins. Little Caesars Pizza Bowl in Detroit against the Big Ten, against the Sun Belt in Mobile, Alabama, GoDaddy.com, and that famous Idaho Potato Bowl out in Boise. In the last, Northern Illinois and Ohio have won the last 2 years back-to-back from the MAC at the famous Idaho Potato. Lynch is going to fire the deep out, and Martell Moore has got it. That is 17 yards and a first down. Jordan Lynch showing the ability, coach, to gun it from the far hash on a string on that deep square out.
You sound like a recruiting coordinator. Can he throw the out to the far hash?
Yeah.
I think we'll recruit this young guy.
You
Michael.
heard that a time or a million in your career.
I think we'll take this young guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jordan Lynch will power his way, keeping the football. That's 7 on first down on the carry. You just can't say enough about, and oh, by the way, for at the bane of the rest of the defensive coordinators around the Mid-American Conference and head coaches, number 6 there in White's got another year of eligibility to quarterback Dave Doran's football team.
With an offensive line that will also have another year of eligibility under their belt and having played together.
You're right. That's a key point. 2nd down and 3. Northern Illinois with 5 touchdowns on the afternoon. Lynch, bubble screen. Tommy Lee Lewis with speed. Lewis got a block, and he's got a first down before he was ushered out of bounds at the 18-yard line. And we've got an injured Eastern Michigan defensive lineman on that play. Got to take a look and see who that was. Eastern Michigan eagled down after Tommy Lee Lewis hauled in that bubble screen from Jordan Lynch. There it is. That's the big sophomore, Cy Moffmer. Ron English really likes him, 300-pounder. Still got a couple years of eligibility left here for the Eagles.
Came to Ypsilanti by way of Apache Junction Community College, Glendale Community College, Apache Junction, Arizona.
You know, Bob, as we talked to Ron English this week, too, he discussed a lot about expectation level off a season like last year and how that equated sometimes to what performance level would be. And he said, well, maybe we didn't handle it as well coming out of the gate as we should have. They got off to the slow start. Now off that toss to throw the football in the end zone is going to fall incomplete. That was Tyrone Clark, the linebacker, who snuck in there. And Clark was throwing the football to the end zone for Tim Semish, that sophomore tight end. Tyrone Clark, the linebacker, Bob Kamel. He said, give me a chance to throw it, Coach.
Well, you know what he said? I'm an athlete. I've been watching Jordan Lynch all year. I know I can do this.
I had to make sure I checked to make sure because you can have the same number, offense and defense. Can't be on the football field at the same time. I said, wait a minute, that's Tyrone Clark. But they snuck him in there to throw the football. Now Lynch under pressure. And did that football hit the ground? I think it did. It's going to fall incomplete. Well, thinking maybe Travis Linzer, the sophomore, he had nothing but real estate ahead of him and the football, but it caromed off the ground and incomplete. That's going to bring right 3rd down and 10. Watch this, Bob. Yeah, on that one hop. Lynch picked it up like a shortstop.
He looked at a great opportunity there.
He did.
A defensive lineman's dream.
Indeed.
He'd still be rumbling down the field.
Lynch on 3rd and 10 will zing that throw in the middle. It's going to come up short of the first down sticks. Tommy Lee, how about this receiving core? Tommy Lee Lewis on that reception. Martell Moore, Perez Ashford, Deron Brown. They run at you in droves.
Great depth at the wide receiver position.
Now, for the first time today, though, is that throw from Jordan Lynch to Tommy Lee Lewis got 6. They needed 10. Matthew Sims, one of the most highly decorated kickers we have in the MAC. He's been one of the best over the course of his career. This will be a 28-yard field goal attempt from near the right hash. And Matthew Sims, I gave him the kiss of death by discussing his prolific career. He pushed that wide right, so Sims not able to add on to the Northern Illinois lead. Eastern Michigan football when we get back, a little bit past the midway part of the 3rd. Northern Illinois with a commanding 35-7. The first half snow showers here around Rynearson Stadium in Ypsilanti, Michigan have dissipated as Northern Illinois, though, they continue to make things tough on Ron English in Eastern Michigan. Now Tyler Benz will zip that throw that's caught by Alex Gillette, so the former quarterback gets 7 on that first down hookup. And Eastern Michigan, Bob, looking to, well, I thought they were going to go right to the line of scrimmage and go quicker, but they are going to huddle here.
Well, I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen Gillette more in this offense. You know, he had 142 all-purpose yards against Western Michigan last week.
Yeah. He's part of theirs, Alex Gillette, part of that 3-receiver set. Young man, it's had an outstanding quarterbacking career here, but Ron English thought it was time to give the offense a jolt. That's one of the most effective runs that Eastern Michigan has had, and that'll move the sticks for a first down. Look at the pile still pushing. Have they blown that dead yet? Evidently not. 9 yards and a first down for Ryan Brumfield. Bob Kamel, how'd you like to be playing defense in that scrum there with that pile push?
That's exactly what I would call it. It was a scrum, which relates to what sport? Rugby.
Rugby, buddy, yeah.
Which is football without equipment, and I want no part of it.
Football.
Football.
Is how they call it, right?
Right. That was a big push up front. Bobby McFadden, 6'7", 312, led that push from Flint Carmen Ainsworth High School.
Nice football program here. There's a young man, the tailback, Ryan Brumfield, who was in the middle of that, toting the football. Benz on the out and closing quickly from that corner was Sean Evans. Benz was trying to hit Gillette, but Sean Evans was trying to time that up, Bob, and close down off his corner.
Well, he's very fortunate with the result, Michael, because there was no safety help behind him. Brumfield, 4 rushes, 24 yards, averages 6.0 yards per rush. This young guy, he has a high upside. He's he runs inside, he can run outside. You know, great young guy, I think, who's got a great future.
Yeah, part of the pair of sophomores, Bronson Hill and Ryan Brumfield. This is 2nd and 10, and this is Ryan Brumfield, and he got knifed down. Boy, how about the hit from Kenny Bishop? 305-pounder out of Lauderhill, Florida. Bishop with the signature dreadlocks outside that Northern Illinois helmet. Boy, is he active, Bob. He and the ball Jefferson, they're both 300-pounders at those D tackles.
But these are guys that also played other high positions in high school, tight end, some were fullbacks. And I mentioned before, I mean, he gets there, he squares his shoulders up, he gets ideally to the heels depth of the offensive line, then he becomes a linebacker. And he doesn't tackle, he strikes. And there's a big difference between striking and tackling.
Saw the tackle for loss and sack numbers. This front four of Northern Illinois leads the MAC and all of that. Now that throw was almost picked off. That is that outstanding corner closing on the football, Rashawn Melvin. And Melvin had 6 in front of him, sure as day, if he could have secured the football.
He should have looked at the football before he did the end zone. He may still be running. He's a great player. I've had a chance to see him 3 times. I really enjoy watching Melvin play. He's selfish, just all around, all over the field. Great pursuit, great speed, helping the other guys, helping the safeties in coverage. And he's a senior, and again, I think he's a guy that could eventually play on a Sunday.
How about Angelo Sebastiano with that line drive punt off the foot of Jay Carruth's taken off on him. He reached up over his head and had another impressive punt return. So I'll give the football back to Jordan Lynch and Northern Illinois. They are looking nicely at their 11th consecutive win. Big lead here over Eastern Michigan. Do hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving weekend. Maybe another turkey sandwich or 2, huh? Some more cranberry sauce. Put your feet up and enjoy the rest of this one. Michael Regai, my partner Bob Kamel here at Rynearson Stadium, as Jordan Lynch will misfire on that first down throw to Martell Moore. But Lynch in Northern Illinois in complete command. As Bob, here it is, the last 3, man. And I mean, come on, 22-1 in this conference, only to lose 1 football game in 3 years. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Michael, when I coached at Northern Illinois, initially when I arrived, we were in the Mid-American Conference. And then, I'll never forget this because they decided that they were going to go and be an independent at that time.
Yep.
And they went to each of the coaches and interviewed each of the coaches, a radio station or whatever from Rockford or whatever, and each of the coaches felt it was a good move. I felt it wasn't.
Really?
And I was very, in all candor, I was very emphatic. I said, this is a great conference. It's an honor to be in this conference. Why go independent? And then I left and continued my career. And then some years later, really not that far, they come back and, they end up going back into the MAC, which I thought was a great idea.
Well, and you raise a very interesting point because here they are now, and think about this, Coach Lee Corso, Bill Mallory,
Jerry Pettibone,
Joe Novak, and Coach Novak, who we saw this year, and we are extremely fond of. I am such a big admirer of Joe Novak and what he accomplished in DeKalb, and then, of course, on to Jerry Kill for a couple of seasons. You look at the active win streaks, and I mean, there it is. Here's Kent State now. They won today, by the way. They beat Ohio 28-6, so they're going at 8-0 and 11-1 to the MAC championship game. They're ranked 23rd. Here's Northern Illinois, Bob, and they are now just about 19 minutes away from winning their 11th in a row. And they're Notre Dame 11 in a row. They play USC this weekend. Ohio State plays Michigan in the rivalry game tomorrow.
Northern Illinois playing Iowa in Soldier Field at the beginning of the year, 3 minutes away from winning that football game, which would give them 12 in a row. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, they came right out and, played well right out the gate.
Jordan Lynch trying to load that up deep. Wanted to hit the home run ball there to Martell Moore. Falls incomplete. So that'll bring up 4th down, and Dave Doran's going to punt the football away with Ryan Neer. There's Neer, and back in that single return spot for Eastern Michigan is Alex Belfie. And Belfie's going to come up and then tell his Eagle teammates, get out of there and let that football bounce around. 32-yard line is where Eastern Michigan will start with 3:35 left in this third quarter. All Northern Illinois on what started as a snowy afternoon in southeast Michigan. Next week, Bob Kamel, 1 week from today, Ford Field in Detroit. Kent State, Northern Illinois, 2 teams that I think they'll both be ranked in the top 25. Kent State, first title game. How about that last week, Bob, on our ESPN MAC game? We showed a 1972 tape, Don James's squad, right? Jack Lambert, Nick Saban, Gary Pinkel, Tinker, and tremendous Larry Poole, Gerald Tinker. As that first down carry from Bronson Hill is going to get stuffed up. You remember that Don James squad from 72?
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Was there any graphic of that tenacious inside linebacker by the name of Lou Holtz?
Coach, I don't recall that, but maybe we missed it. Maybe that's our fault.
As you know, I had the pleasure and the honor of working for Coach Holtz at the University of Notre Dame, and it wouldn't surprise me if he were some kind of a fly-around guy as a linebacker, because he's a tough guy for sure, but fair. I love coaching for Coach Holtz.
Yeah, you coached with a couple of true Hall of Famers, as Tyler Benz will work his way. Well, I should say a couple. I was referencing the late, great Glenn Bo Schembechler, of course. Coach Holtz, we just mentioned. You worked for Coach Corso at Northern Illinois, right? You've had your share, partner.
I have. I've been very fortunate. Very fortunate. And I had a great relationship with the 3 of them, and still in touch with Coach Corso, still in touch with Coach Holtz. And I will tell you, a day doesn't go by that I don't think about Bo Schembechler and the things I learned from him, not only in football, but about life. And I miss Bo dearly.
All of them Mid-American Conference players and coaches as well. All right, Alex Gillette now will zip that throw, and it is caught by Donald Scott. So Gillette, this is the finale for Gillette. He's a senior, and of course, as we said, and Bob, we should say again, this young man is 5th all time on the passing charts here at Eastern Michigan, and made the move without did not pout, did not sulk, went to wide receiver, and he's going back there now, but a testament to the team man he is.
Well, I think that'll be reflective upon his future as he moves on and goes out into the world with the football experience behind him and takes the lessons of football out into the world. He'll be a very successful young man in whatever his endeavor may be.
Tyler Benz being chased and tracked down by that. This, again, we've mentioned, 5, 7, 8 times today about how this front seven of Northern Illinois flies around. Sean Krogar, along with Alan Baxter, Kenny Bishop, Nabal Jefferson, the backups, Joe Windsor, Donovan Gordon, Anthony Wells, Jason Meehan. They play 8 of them. I mean, they play 8 defensive linemen in rotation, and so you get some snaps off and get some rest and stay fresh that way.
Well, we mentioned the penalty that Eastern Michigan had with that punt return situation. Now, Northern Illinois has been substituting on the fly for the entire game and have never come up with a penalty with too many men on the field, which is a credit to what they do on the sideline and how they practice these things.
Well, how about the blitz recognition there, and Tyler Benz, outstanding run. Benz with that football looking at 2nd and 10, just got 22 yards and an Eastern Michigan first down. Quarterback Tyler Benz.
He is a good-looking quarterback prospect. 6'3", 215 pounds, a sophomore.
We'll see if now Ron English told us he's bringing in a couple of quarterbacks to challenge him this year. Those that he's recruiting next year. So we'll see if Benz is able to keep the job. He's firing middle, and it is caught. Boy, outstanding throw to the big tight end as he was able to hit Tyrese Russell. Good-looking young sophomore, his 12th reception of the year. Seam route thrown over the linebacker in front of the safety.
An impressive throw by Tyler Benz. That's right on the money. He went to his progression. Excellent throw, puts the football right in the numbers. Hey, and how about again, I mentioned Northern Illinois tackling. Jimmy Ward, 5'11", 192, comes up and sticks that big tight end coming across the field.
One of the best in the MAC, free safety Jimmy Ward. All right, 45 minutes of football in the books. Got 15 minutes more in the regular season here at Rynearson Stadium. Eastern Michigan trying to get on the board, trailing Northern Illinois by 28. What do you say we begin the final quarter of the regular season here in the Mid-American Conference? Ron English and his Eastern Michigan Eagles in the red zone, knocking on the door, trying to put their second touchdown on the board today. And this is Ryan Brumfield with the call, but just nothing there. Could not find any space. It'll bring up 2nd and goal.
I think right now Eastern Michigan needs to take the football out on the perimeter and give Tyler Benz a throw-run option. I mean, I don't think going right up against the front of that Northern Illinois defensive line is going to prove very successful.
Tyler Benz. Bronson Hill is checked back in. Offset with Benz on 2nd and goal. Benz will trigger end zone, and it is not held on to by Alex Gillette. A diving Gillette, not able to haul it in.
Looks like it might be very, well, I thought it would be a little bit more catchable than what it looked like. I think if you just let them or put a little more air on their football, I think they'd have had 6.
Yeah, Gillette had beaten Rashawn Melvin, that outstanding corner, on that quick slam.
I mean, you watch the body language of young Gillette here, Alex. I mean, you'd never know what the score is. I mean, this guy is a competitor.
Football player. 3rd and goal from the 6. Benz came underneath. Garrett Hoskins made the grab and got pushed out of bounds. Or no, it fell incomplete. Hoskins had the football momentarily, tried to turn upfield and did not secure it. It'll bring up 4th down. Nice defensive play, though, huh?
Take that football and tuck it in and squeeze it for all you're worth, especially down inside the red zone. Anywhere on the field, but especially down in the red zone.
Bob Kamel, Tyrone Clark.
Tyrone Clark
pulled that football out as Hoskins was trying to turn it up. All right, Eastern Michigan said there will be no field goal here. Got to put in the end zone on 4th and goal. Benz will step up in a lot of trouble. Stayed alive. unloaded in the end zone, and it got broken up. It was intended for Alex Gillette, and Rashawn Melvin and Northern Illinois have held on downs.
Well, right here, we watch this play. What made this play go is he starts to roll out to his right. Watch Alex Baxter come upfield, gain contain, and force him to throw the football as opposed to getting out on the perimeter and being able to run the football in. Inside in front, the old story of defense. Keep the quarterback inside and in front of the defense, you've got a chance. You get him out on the perimeter, and he's got a run-pass option, and, that's where the quarterbacks end up in the end zone, just running the football in.
Speaking of running the football, you are going to see a lot of that now from Jordan Lynch, as Lynch will power his way on that quarterback keep. He got 6 to bring up 2nd and 4. Jordan Lynch just continuing his assault on the rushing record books at Northern Illinois and around the MAC. All right, this is what fourth quarter point margins. Plus 58 for Northern Illinois. You talk about putting games away, knowing how to win? There it is. Lynch to air it out for Martell Moore, and had too much arm on that throw, and it'll fall incomplete.
That is an amazing graphic. Fourth quarter, amazing fourth quarter graphic. And this goes back also to your strength and conditioning program. I mean, in the fourth quarter, you get a football team that plays that way in the fourth quarter. They have to have an outstanding strength and conditioning program.
Sure.
Plus 58.
Yeah, that's that. You look at some of the glittering numbers. There's one. There's Northern Illinois. For Kent State, Bob, I just had them last week here on the ESPN Family of Networks. They are a plus 21 in turnover margin. Plus 21 for the year. Lynch trying to keep the drive alive, and he'll blast his way out over the 15, and that's enough for the Northern Illinois first down. So, they've created 32 turnovers on the year, and have only turned it over themselves 11 times. That's Kent State. Plus 21.
Michael, that's coaching.
That's how you win, right?
Exactly, and that is coaching. And again, taking care of the football, drills during the week, and where you're doing ball security drills,
yep,
and emphasizing it and talking about it constantly.
That's Dave Doran, and he's all about that. Of course, putting games away in the fourth quarter with that huge plus 58. Darrell Hazel, who we congratulate most heartily, they beat Ohio today 28-9, their 10th straight win. They're 11-1 overall, 8-0 perfect in the MAC. These two football teams on a collision course a week from today at Ford Field in Detroit for a MAC championship. Well, Lynch was 2nd and 7 now, but now Northern Illinois would love to take about 8-9 minutes off the clock on this drive, as Lynch will spin off a hit, power his way to the 25. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short now, about a 3rd and let's call it 3 to keep the drive alive.
Michael, we've mentioned Ford Field for the championship game, and referred to Ford Field time and again. As someone who calls Detroit home or called Detroit home,
yeah,
you have to be very proud of that facility.
No question. Oh, absolutely.
What
Coach.
A venue.
Absolutely, Coach. The home of the Detroit Lions, and it is one of the premier football venues in the nation. And the Mid-American Conference continues its relationship with the Detroit Lions and all the Ford Field personnel. As we got a timeout from Dave Doran just as Jordan Lynch was calling for that snap.
Illinois, they're first 30-second timeout.
It's only a 30-second timeout, and Dave Doran wanted to make sure everything was right on this 3rd down and 2. Here it is. He's over 100 yards on the ground again, Bob Kamel. That's 104 on the day, 247 total on the day. To show how good he's been, this 247, that's kind of pedestrian by his standards. He's normally in that 350 to 450 mark. So today he's kind of let some of his buddies on the offensive side have a little bit of the football more today.
Without sounding repetitive or redundant, when they hand out that Heisman Trophy, I'm not suggesting that they hand it to him.
Sure.
I'm not doing that at all.
But
I am
be
saying he should be in the
Yeah.
conversation, and he should be in New York when that trophy is handed out.
Agreed, Coach. An 11-1 football team. Look at this. We say that the ball got put on the ground
Michael,
on 3rd and 2.
If I may, 10th consecutive
Yeah.
100-yard rushing game.
That's phenomenal. You're talking about that now, and it's amazing, as we said, first time today, had a bit of a miscue there. I think that snap came out quicker than Lynch wanted. Yeah, they were running the jet sweep, Coach. Does that sometimes affect maybe a snap when you've got that jet motion coming?
You could have a tendency from time to time as a quarterback in the shotgun to kind of maybe look off to the side to see where the motion's coming from or where he's at that particular point in time.
Fair catch from Eastern Michigan's Alex Belfie right at the 50-yard line. All right, don't go away. When we get back, Eastern Michigan's got the football. They got in the red zone a moment ago and couldn't cash in. And the Eagles get more on the board. They trail it 35-7. Leads Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan rather trailing Northern Illinois, and now this pass is picked off, intercepted as Northern Illinois got the football right back. The INT from Sean Evans, the cornerback, as Evans came up with a pick as Northern Illinois going to get the football back on the Evans INT.
Michael, how much more of Jordan Lynch do you think we'll see today?
I don't know, Bob. That's a good question as we start the fourth quarter here. I thought maybe through 3, but Lynch is coming out to start this drive here with the second drive of the fourth quarter. Martell Moore on that bubble screen reception from Jordan Lynch down to the 24-yard line.
Martell Moore, an excellent throw, an excellent catch, in a lot of traffic, setting up that bubble screen. I mean, that is what I would call choreography as opposed to running a play. Everybody in the right place at the right time and getting their blocks in. Well executed, to say the least.
Yeah, that sudden change, Northern Illinois able to get the football right back. Now to the ground game, Akeem Daniels. Better get him on the ground because that's exactly the play that he came out the backside when Eastern Michigan thought that they had him stood up and the play was over in the first half.
That was amazing the way he came out the other end of that play.
Yeah.
That's determination. One of the things he did do as he was going down, he set his hand down. And again, as a former, I had coached running backs. That's a drill you do almost every day. Put the football in your left hand, get the running back going with the football in his left hand, set your right hand down, take the football, put it in your left hand, and do the same the other way.
Now Lynch will put it up, and he'll find another completion as he was able here to hit wide receiver Jawan Breskison. Breskison, who had been targeted one time in the first half, making the catch there. So 3rd down and short as another visit to the red zone for Northern Illinois. Line to make is at the 14-yard line here. Lynch to keep the football. Look at the moves from Jordan Lynch. Lynch outside the numbers and to the corner. Touchdown if it stands. We had a late flag thrown by the field judge, and we'll see if that's going to hold up. Northern Illinois walking back, so it is going to be wiped off the board.
Michael, I think this is going to be holding on number 82.
Breskison? Yeah.
Jawan Breskison.
Yeah.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. 10-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That gave you, even though it was wiped off the board, that gave you an idea of the abilities to jump cut and slide out of would-be tackles that Jordan Lynch has. He was bottled up twice at the line of scrimmage. There and there.
He dips inside, goes outside, and there's the hold.
So the football is brought back to the 16-yard line. It's still 3rd and 2 now. That was a spot foul down inside the 5. So the line to make is still at the 14, so it comes back to right where it was at 3rd down and 2. The hold was at the 6-yard line. Motion from Daniels. This is Akeem Daniels inside the 5. He's into the end zone. His 4th rushing touchdown of the day. 8 on the year. He came into today with 4 rushing touchdowns. He's doubled it up now. His 4th of the day, 8th of the year, to blow this one completely open.
The overall team speed from Northern Illinois is just unbelievable. Whether it's the wide receivers, the secondary, the running backs, Akeem Daniels, what a burst. This guy's got to be a 4-4 for sure.
Daniels are really one of the few healthy tailbacks that have been able to get through this season for Dave Dorn. As Matthew Sims PAT. Will that be the end of Jordan Lynch and Akeem Daniels and the number 1 offense? Jet sweep time, and Daniels was not touched as he got to the house for Northern Illinois. Hope you're enjoying this Thanksgiving weekend of college football here at Rynearson Stadium. The Huskies of Northern Illinois showing you why they are going to be rated as one of the top 25. And they're trying to get warm today right now. Akeem Daniels, he's been warm. He's visited the end zone 4 times. Bob Kamel.
He's warm.
I should say so.
He's warm.
Yeah. Tyler Allen having some problems with the football. Now Allen will gather, but down he goes at the 12-yard line. So Eastern Michigan with 8:35 left. As we approach the end of this regular season, and Ron English and Eastern Michigan are going to wind up at 2-10. Their wins over Army non-conference, and of course, big one last week and going to Kalamazoo and beating Western Michigan to maintain. They have a MAC Michigan trophy here that they, between Eastern, Western, and Central, and Eastern Michigan maintains that for the year. But it has, it's coming off a 6-6. A lot was expected of this 2012 version of the Eagles. Now they're going to go back to the ground game.
Michael, that game next week is going to be a real barn burner, I would expect.
Oh, it's going to be fabulous. Bronson Hill lost the football momentarily, but got it back after a gain of about 5. Let's call it 2nd and 5. Coach, I'm going to ask you. Nothing like putting you on the spot, huh? As I say, happy Thanksgiving to you and your lovely wife Ann and the family. But do you see an edge? Seriously, 2 11-1 teams, Bob. That's the first time in MAC history. 2 11-1 teams and 8-0s in MAC play are going to the championship.
Well, my friend Michael, you did put me on the spot, but I'm going to I am going to respond this way. I do see an edge.
All right.
And it's number 6 for Northern Illinois University Huskies, along with that front offensive line.
All right, let's look at our producer director Jeff Bentley and all the crew right on time. The fabulous Dree Archer, the finest all-purpose return man in all of college football, against the phenomenal Jordan Lynch. I can't wait.
Oh, those are phenomenal numbers. What a game that's going to be. And talk about a credit. Kent State, Northern Illinois has been on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah.
But Kent State, you have to go far back in the history of Kent State football.
1972, Coach.
What a fabulous job this coaching staff at Kent State has done.
They've been phenomenal. Tyler Benz is going to go down as some of the backups now getting playing time. As you see that takedown for Northern Illinois came from George Rainey. Rainey wears number 46 in on that hit. Rainey, one of the backups along that middle line, that linebacking side.
Good job of pass rushing. A little bit of an inside swim technique. Went inside, came back to the outside.
Yep, Daniel Green also. They're side by side. Rainey's 46, Green's 56. They actually are now. Now we're down to the third unit on the depth chart here for Northern Illinois as Bronson Hill gets the call on 2nd and 18 and wedged out a couple.
Michael, aside from the obvious of a young man getting an opportunity to play, whether he's a backup or even on the third string, what this does to the overall morale of the football team. Many of these guys that are on the second team, or I should say the third team, basically are scout team guys, and they, that's drudgery, performing every day of the offense or the defense of your next opponent. You get an opportunity to play in a game like this, you come back this week and you are ready to go.
Sure. 3rd and 14 now for sophomore quarterback Tyler Benz. Trying to keep this drive alive. Checks down and comes underneath, and Bronson Hill is swallowed up right away. As in on that stop for the Huskies of Northern Illinois was Marky Hayes. He's a backup quarterback out of Sycamore, Illinois.
Sycamore, Illinois is directly adjacent to DeKalb, Illinois. Side by side.
Yes, yes it is.
You're a local guy in there now.
Yeah, you are a local guy. That's right. You cross out of the city line. I always loved it, my trips into to do MAC football into DeKalb, Illinois. Jay Carruth's is in a lot of trouble. But Carruth's did a heck of a job to just get that football out of there. Now, the punt is only going to be about 13 yards, but Coach, I mean, to be able to, under duress, to at least get the football off his leg and out of the end zone was a terrific job.
Very, very athletic. Very athletic. A snap almost went over the top of his head. He was under duress, ended up kicking the football. I mean, just the fact he got it away. Forget about the distance.
All right, Carruth's, watch him here. Look, he says, I got to get out of here and find a way to kick the football out of danger. All Northern Illinois Huskies with the football when we come back. Late 4th quarter with Northern Illinois in control. Great to have you along on this Thanksgiving weekend. Great to be with my partner, Bob Kamel. I'm Michael Regai, our producer-director, Jeff Bentley, all of our terrific crew. And Jordan Lynch has finally given way as the backup quarterback now. The youngster, Matt McIntosh, is on the football field. So Matt McIntosh, the redshirt freshman, there he is. And you're going to see a lot now of the run game for Northern Illinois. Giorgio Bowers, by the way, is number 25. Bowers is he wasn't getting any playing time when Leighton Settle and Keith Harris Jr. were not injured, but now he's moved up the depth chart. So Bowers in at the tailback spot. Northern Illinois they're trying to wind that play clock down, and here's your quarterback draw from McIntosh. He's learning his lessons in running that zone read and that quarterback keep from one of the best in Jordan Lynch.
McIntosh, a young guy from Reach High School in Evansville, Indiana, 6'1", 197 pounds. Now, when the mantle is passed to him, Jordan Lynch,
no pressure, Matt.
If it's passed the same way that Harnish passed it on to Jordan, we'll see prolific quarterbacking from the Husky for years to come.
Yeah. This is going to be a 3rd down and 12 now for Matt McIntosh to see if he's going to put it up. Yep, he'll gun that hitch route, and it is caught. As making the catch was, again, Juwan Breskeson. It's going to come up short. So that's the end of the day right there. There's your final tallies for Jordan Lynch. 275 more yards a total of.
Just an amazing performance, and as you mentioned, it's very average by his standards.
Yeah, it was. It's not that he didn't play well. It's just it's kind of pedestrian. As he got the football into Akeem Daniels today with 4 TDs, right?
Martell Moore, great distribution.
Moore, sure. Now on that double move, on that hitch and go, McIntosh put it on the left hand of Juwan Breskeson, who just couldn't haul it in, and Northern Illinois had 6 more.
I think there's going to be a penalty here, Michael. I think it looks like pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 31. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Marcel Rose playing his final game as an Eastern Michigan Eagle got whistled here. Did he ever get his head around? Nope. Never did. Got to turn back and look at the football, don't you, Coach?
No doubt about it. And when you turn around and look at that football, that critical moment is too soon's not good, too late's not good either. And that's what you got to get a feel for as a corner. You know, look around, see that wide receiver gets big eyes, starts looking back toward the football. You got to look back also.
That pass interference call on Marcel Rose is going to keep the drive alive. So Northern Illinois now in the red zone again from the 15-yard line as we're inside the 3-minute mark. This is Giorgio Bowers, and he got tracked down on the backside. A young man who made the hit, number 21, has had a nice couple of years here. That's Brian Pally, junior college transfer, and really had a big season in 2011 as he stepped into a starting role for Ron English. Coach, it's been a marvelous. You saw a lot, 7 Mid-American Conference football games that you had the pleasure, and the listeners and viewers had the pleasure of listening to you this year. And you've already said a couple of times on the show today that the Mid-American Conference is in tremendous stead going forward. And do you know that you have virtually every quarterback this year is returning? Kent State is going to graduate Spencer Keith as Bowers carried the football again, but all these quarterbacks, Jordan Lynch, Terrence Owens at Toledo, Matt Schultz at Bowling Green, Tyler Tettleton at Ohio. Well, Zach Dysert is going to leave at Miami, but the vast majority of these QBs are all coming back.
Well, Michael, and looking also one step beyond into the National Football League, the amount of quarterbacks from the Mid-American Conference that have experienced great success in the National Football League is phenomenal.
Now, it really is, as Matt McIntosh now in that jet sweep gave the football to the corner and getting into the end zone for the touchdown for Northern Illinois was Jacob Brinley, the freshman wide receiver, Fork Union Military Academy. He prepped, and now he's in the end zone and has touchdown number 7 on the afternoon for Northern Illinois.
You can't help but be happy for this young guy. I mean, you know, just as you mentioned, just this little sweep play, does a great job of keeping his feet in bounds, walks that tightrope, gets in the end zone, and he is sitting on top of the world right now.
Jacob Brinley to cap off what has been an extraordinary 7-touchdown afternoon for the Northern Illinois offense. They average right around 40 a game. They've done nothing to hurt that today, as Matthew Sims will add the PAT. 4 of the 7 touchdowns from running back Akeem Daniels. This one from the true freshman Jacob Brinley.
Great job. Great push up front by the right side of that Northern Illinois offensive line. And you mentioned Fork Union Military.
Right, yeah.
You know, in many situations, a young guy might not be prepared to move up to the Division I level in football. And there are alternatives, Fork Union being one of them. Fork Union has sent many football players on to play in Division I,
right, yeah.
Where a young guy takes that little step in between and does postgraduate work at a school like Fork Union.
And Dave Dorn, that's another thing he and his coaching staff have done. What a tremendous job of recruiting over the course of the last couple of seasons. And, Dave Dorn replaced Jerry Kill, who had it positioned in wonderful. And Coach Kill was Joe Novak, a great deal of credit, as well he should have. This program is one of the best in the nation in Division I.
Now, one of the things that Jerry Kill talked about when he took over the program was the cooperation that he received from Joe Novak.
Right.
In college football, head coaches, assistant coaches, or whatever, may be one of the true fine gentlemen that you could meet in college football in the person of Joe Novak. I mean, he's all there is about what's good about college football. I mean, he's a hardcore fundamentalist as a football coach, a great recruiter, a great leader, mentor of young coaches, and did it with great integrity. I mean, here's Dave Dorn, 2 straight West Division titles, 2011 MAC champions, GoDaddy Bowl champion, 12-0 at Husky Stadium. win streaks of 9 and 10 games.
Well, that's soon to become 11.
Soon to become 11.
That 10 is going to be 11 in 83 seconds.
21 consecutive home game victories.
Phenomenal. And in the last 3 years, Bob, when you think about this, they've played 24 Mid-American Conference regular season games. Right? You play 80 a year. This is going to be 23-1. They've lost one MAC football game in 3 years, and that was the opener last season.
Just amazing. Just amazing.
So we are inside the final 60 seconds. Partner, always a pleasure to be with you.
My pleasure. They brought
They
brought the old band back together one time.
They brought the band back together like the Beatles and Rolling Stones.
Or Lawrence Welk, maybe.
Okay.
All right.
You're right, yeah.
Thank you, Michael, for everything.
Oh, my pleasure, Bob Kamel. My pleasure. Now, Eastern Michigan going to keep the football on the ground, and with that carry and running hard off the right side was tailback Darius Jackson out of Sparta, Illinois.
You know, to all these Eastern Michigan University seniors that are playing their last game here at Ryan Nearson Stadium, you know, keep your heads up as you walk off the field. Played in a great conference and played competitively last year at a 6-6, and you know, have great memories because down the line, a lot of these scores will be forgotten. It's gonna be about teammates and, you know, and about life and things like that. So hats off to all those young guys that stayed the course for 4 years and end their careers here today.
So well put, Bob Kamel, and that's going to be the final snap as you see it count down. So you can book win number 11 on the year. Their 11th in a row and an 8-0 MAC season to that man, Dave Doran, who shakes hands with Ron English, and that'll do it. It is over as Jordan Lynch and Northern Illinois will go to the MAC championship game to play another 11-1 football team, the Golden Flashes of Kent State, and head coach Darrell Hazel. So that's going to do it for the MAC regular season. As you enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend, we'll tell you the preceding has been a presentation, and yes, there was the snowflakes in the first half, a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in college football and the worldwide leader in sports. Now for producer-director Jeff Bentley, graphics coordinator Tom Boshenik, fabulous job all year long. All the crew, great job to one and all. My partner, Bob Kamel. Michael Regai. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Northern Illinois has won 11 in a row. They're 11-1, perfect, and a MAC West Division champion. They beat Eastern Michigan 49-7 the final. So long, everybody, from Ryan Nearson Stadium in Ypsilanti, Michigan.